the door, I'm home at last, and I'm soaking through and through. And then you handed me a towel, and all I see is you. And even if my house falls down now, I wouldn't have a clue, because you're near me. And I want to thank you for giving me the best day of my life.
This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network. We broadcast from our studios at 6 Bradley Avenue, Kingston 10, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester. Transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Coopers Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James. Serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
Good morning to you. I'm Tawna Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Monday, May 12, 2025. Police report strong cooperation from residents in search for person of interest in the rape and murder of 9-year-old Kelsey Farragon. And Prime Minister Andrew Holness says that the brutal murder raises the question of whether the sex offenders registry should be made public. Children's Advocate supports reward for capture of alleged perpetrator. In regional news, TNT opposition denies the PNM infighting rumors. In international news, global stocks rise after U.S. and China agree on tariff cuts. In sports, Shelly Fraser-Price says Jamaica's bronze at World Athletics Relay bodes well for future of track and field. And in business, White House and Qatar discuss transfer of luxury jet for Air Force One. The details after the break.
Yo, my boss. Yo, my general. Yo, my king. The new BK Mega Stacker. Come for run everything. Choose your style. Double, triple, or quad stack. Juicy grilled beef. Plus crispy bacon, some stackerific sauce, and layers of melted cheese. So if you think you can angle it, stackify yourself today. Order the BK Mega Stacker and have it your way. The new BK Mega Stacker. Built for satisfaction. Limited time. Only at Burger King.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Police seeking Giovanni Ellis, the man declared a person of interest in the rape and murder of 9-year-old Kelsey Farragon in Job Lane, Spanish Town, St. Catherine last Friday, say they have been getting strong cooperation from residents. The head of the Area 5 Police is Assistant Commissioner Christopher Phillips.
The investigation is well advanced. As I said before, we had an immediate case review the day after. All the teams were there to give their account of what took place. We've started to gather, all the evidence so far. And one thing that is very encouraging is the level of support that we're getting from the community so far. We're following several leads. We continue to appeal to Giovanni Ellis to immediately report to the Spanish Town Criminal Investigation Branch. It is very urgent that he do so, get his lawyer, and report immediately.
Ellis is a 39-year-old laborer of a St. Catherine address. He answers to the alias Cooliman. ACP Phillips is appealing to residents not to take matters into their own hands if they encounter Ellis.
We don't want a situation where the community take things in their own hands and then it creates more problems for us. As we see it, there's no conflict between the person of interest, the side of the family and the family of the victim. And I think there is an understanding of what really took place. Very unfortunate, very heartbreaking what took place. We just want, a speedy resolve, one that is peaceful and that the perpetrator will be brought to account for his actions as the evidence would unfold.
ACP Christopher Phillips, head of the Area 5 Police. In the meantime, ACP Phillips says Ellis is a close friend of Kelsey Farragon's family.
A close family friend, I would say. There's one, they share the same yard space basically. But the truth is, he really doesn't live in that area, but his mother is from that area, based on information gathered. He really grew with his father, not in that space, but would come there from time to time because the mother is from that area. Well, I wouldn't want to go much further than to repeat the call for him to immediately report to us. He is a person of interest that we really want to have some word with right away.
ACP Christopher Phillips, head of the Area 5 Police. And Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the brutal murder of 9-year-old Kelsey Farragon in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, has again raised the question of whether the sex offenders registry should be made public. Kelsey Cassidy Farragon was brutally murdered sometime between 1 and 8 p.m. last Friday. It's reported that the child may have been sexually assaulted. Dr. Holness visited her family on Sunday. Kalisa Wright reports.
The gruesome murder and suspected rape of 9-year-old Kelsey has been greeted with horror across the country. The child's partially naked body was discovered at her home about 8 p.m. on Friday. Her little body was stuffed upside down in a barrel. Nationwide News understands there are signs the child was sexually assaulted before being dumped in the container. It's also understood there are signs she was beaten. The person of interest in relation to the murder is said to be a repeat offender who was out on bail. He's Giovanni Ellis, otherwise called Cooliman. Prime Minister Holness says this has raised the question about the public availability of the Sex Offenders Registry.
We have recently reformed the Bail Act and we do have in place a Sex Offenders Registry. But I think this incident requires that we take a second look on how we make this Sex Offenders Registry available to the public so that the public can be armed with information to protect themselves. Yes, there are constitutional issues that we have to balance, but where we are in the society, I have said it before and I'll say it again, that our laws need to favor the protection of life and the protection of the victim rather than trying to protect the criminals. It is time that the society draws a clear line that we must eliminate the criminals from our society. They mean you no good.
He says the country's laws should be crafted towards protecting innocent lives and eliminating criminals. He says the weaknesses have to be addressed.
The person who is alleged to have committed the crime, we don't know, we are speaking purely now on allegation, is someone who is a repeat offender, someone who is out on bail. And as the mother of the child who perished pointed out, that she had no idea that this man, who was essentially her neighbor, was a repeat offender and was actually out on bail. So that speaks to certain weaknesses, certain issues that we have to take a second look at in our criminal justice system.
Dr. Holness says the fact that residents have not resorted to jungle justice is evidence of their trust in the security forces.
ACP Phillips privately commended you that no one has sought to take matters into your own hands. And I pointed out to him that this is the new Jamaica that you see emerging even out of conflict and these kinds of gruesome situations, where the citizens have confidence that the police will be able to find the perpetrator. The citizens have confidence that the police will bring the perpetrator to justice. And therefore, the people will play their role in cooperating, in providing information, in highlighting the problem, in speaking out against the problem, and in ensuring that this does not happen again.
National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says his ministry is offering a $2 million reward for information leading to the capture of the man implicated in the crime. Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
And a Member of Parliament for Central St. Catherine, Olivia Babsy-Grange, has condemned the killing of 9-year-old Kelsey Farragon.
The news of the horrific killing of 9-year-old Kelsey Farragon in my constituency has shocked and angered the nation. As a nation, we are all pained by this cruel and wicked act of violence. It feels overwhelming to us, but just imagine how much more difficult it is for Kelsey's mother, her family, and her friends, especially on the eve of Mother's Day.
She's urging her constituents to share any information with investigators.
I spent the day in the constituency trying to comfort and commiserate with those who have been affected by this latest act of brutality against a little girl. Like everyone there, I really feel the pain of this vile act to my core. Understandably, there's a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in the constituency, but we need justice for Kelsey, not revenge. I commend the police for the intensity of their investigation so far, and I urge my constituents to work with the police in our pursuit of justice. I'm calling on anyone with information about this horrific incident to make a report to the police.
Olivia Babsy-Grange, a Member of Parliament for Central St. Catherine. Meanwhile, children's advocate Dan Gordon Harrison is supporting the move by the National Security Ministry to offer a reward for information that will lead to the arrest of the person responsible for the brutal slaying of 9-year-old Kelsey. On Saturday, the ministry announced it will be offering a $2 million reward for information leading to the capture of the perpetrator or perpetrators.
So, of course, the whole nation, I think, is focused on what happened. And, I can't help but recall and reflect on the irony of it all. This is Child Month, as you know, and it happened on the weekend of Mother's Day. So, of course, I'm not only horrified, but I really join, and the Office of the Children's Advocate supports the intervention that law enforcement has indicated it will be making as a matter of priority. And we're very heartened by the reward that has been named in the event that the suspected person is brought to justice. So we extend our condolences and at the same time use it as a call to action, because again, this points out that very possibly it's someone who knew Kelsey that did this particular horrendous act.
The children's advocate also highlighted the importance of continuous psychosocial support in Kelsey's home community and at her school, St. John's Primary.
So psychosocial support is not only a casual desire, it is an absolute need in these circumstances. We note that Kelsey went to St. John's Primary School. I can only stress the need for her classmates and the broader school community to be exposed and to receive intensive counseling support. The other children in the Job Lane community, and very particularly her 5-year-old sibling, who was said to be at home with her, and her 16-year-old brother, who made the gruesome find. This is an absolutely critical response that will need to happen on a sustained basis to assist them with coping with this very, very tragic set of circumstances.
Dan Gordon Harrison, Children's Advocate. In other news now, Opposition Senator Peter Bunting has accused the government of contributing to delays in the completion of a construction project at Prattville Primary School in South Manchester. Bunting told the Senate last week that the contractor on the project has stopped working because the government has not paid him.
I drew the attention of the Senate to the plight of the children at Prattville Primary. This was before the hurricane, Beryl, by the way. Water was pouring in through the roof. The structure of the building was rusting away, etc. The electricals were also inundated with water. And you have here, Beryl, of course, displaced the students from the school altogether. You have here that the status of the school is 95% complete. But payments have only been 60%. And what I can tell you that no work has taken place on this school for the last couple months because, as I understand it, the contractor has not been paid. The ministry is way behind on its payments.
Senator Bunting says the delays are causing severe problems for students across various grades at the school.
These classrooms were 95% when I visited at the harvest in March, the harvest celebration of the school. 2 months later, we still have the grades 2 to 6 students crammed into the infant department. The students from the infant and grade 1 are still in a church hall. This is almost at the end of the school year. They have been in the church hall for basically the entire school year up to now. They're now contemplating putting those little infants and grade 1 students on remote learning. And as anyone who has had a young child on remote learning, it doesn't work for that age.
Peter Bunting, opposition senator. But a man who claims to be the contractor on the project, Carl Robinson, says Senator Bunting's claim is false. He says the ministry does not owe him a cent.
I must say the ministry does not owe me of any submission of payment. There's no submission of payment that I have not received. So presently, the only thing Mr. Bunting is right with is that the work is 95% complete, but what needs to be done does not construct at the school. It's being done at the workshop to take and install by the school.
Robinson, who was speaking on the Jamaica Politics Unlimited YouTube show, says that the scope of work increased as the project unfolded.
This is one of those Canadian upstairs building where built with mostly curling and iron and such. So when we start strip the building, that's when we start discover that the work is far more than what was expected. So within that now, the ministry had to go back to the drawing board for variation. The next thing that affects the contract is the storm, and the next thing, the tariff that they had, where we had problem getting material. Sometime it takes all 2 weeks for you to get material whenever you are to purchase material. So we do our best to bring the school to the state where it is now.
Carl Robinson, a building contractor. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
Want to learn more about local government and how it's working for you? Then subscribe to our YouTube channel MLGRDJA-TV and visit our website www.localgovjamaica.gov.jm. The time by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development is
6:17.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714 to 5 or 876-754-3825 to 8. APC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
In regional and international news this morning, regional news in Trinidad and Tobago, opposition leader Penelope Beckles has denied reports of infighting in the People's National Movement, PNM, even as she concedes the existence of conflict due to the recent stinging general election defeat. The TNT Guardian is reporting that Beckles is expressing confidence the party will regroup and focus on functioning as a strong and united opposition. Last week, a group calling itself the Changemakers called on PNM General Secretary Foster Cummings to follow the other executive members who resigned in the wake of the election defeat. In response, however, Cummings claimed he disagreed with the election campaign strategy and was not kept in the loop, saying he felt sidelined during key decisions. Cummings noted that he is willing to work with the party to address its shortcomings, but believes internal issues must be handled with transparency and respect. Beckles says her work to rebuild the PNM has already begun. International news, global stocks soared in early trading on Monday after the U.S. and China agreed to slash tariffs on each other's goods for 90 days. The BBC is reporting that this is a major de-escalation in the trade war between the world's two biggest economies. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says both sides will cut tariffs by 115% from Wednesday after trade talks in Geneva at the weekend. It means U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports will fall to 30%, while Chinese tariffs on U.S. goods will fall to 10%. It's a bigger cut than expected by analysts, but 30% is still a high tariff. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
When you see opportunity, make sure you take it. So when I got a piece of land to grow things, I jumped at it. With my Jane Bank small business loan, I grew the opportunity. I've reaped a whole new life for my family. Now my goods supply plenty market across the parish. Jane Bank helps you grow your business with the Jane Bank small business loan that is perfect for you. Borrow from $10,000 up to $1.5 million to help cover expenses. Visit janebank.com to get started today. Jane Bank, we'll help you find a way.
Don't fall victim to deepfakes.
Watch out.
Protect yourself.
How are this the on my TV?
Visit broadcastingcommission.org or
Here ya,
scan
baby.
the QR code on screen.
Deepfake. No deepfake can't catch me.
Junior, you know say AI can make something will look and sound just like you? One day Junior get a voice note from her granny. Say the food done, the medication done, and she need money urgently.
Need money urgently? But Miss Pat no like ask people for things.
And as so comes, Judy get suspicious.
So what she do?
She asks the neighbor to go check pan her. Junior, the lady quite alright over there make her Sunday dinner.
So the voice note a deep fake?
Yes, my love. Come, your food ready.
Right now it look like we have to outsmart the AI. But wait, I really want dege dumpling here, give me.
Me I wonder if AI can make one deep fake dumpling for you.
To learn more about deepfakes, visit www.broadcastingcommission.org.
Time now for your morning sports. World and Olympic champion Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce says she's upbeat about the future of Jamaica's track and field. Fraser-Pryce made the comment after Jamaica's women took bronze at the World Athletics Relay in China on Sunday.
We still have some youth in our team, and it's good to have them, be a part of the team to get the experience because, as you go, they will have to be the ones that carry on the legacy. It's a good energy to know that you have young athletes who they're confident and they're determined and they're committed to this. So you know that whatever happens next, they're in, Jamaica track and field is in good hands.
The quartet of Fraser Price, Tina Clayton, and Natasha Morrison and Sharika Jackson finished third in 42.33 seconds. Fraser Price says the main objective was to qualify for the World Championships in Tokyo later this year.
As a team, we're able to qualify to the World Championship, and I think all in all, we have to give God thanks for that. That was the main objective. I mean, winning would have been icing on the cake, but we're really grateful that we're able to still stand on the podium and get a bronze medal.
Shelley and Fraser Price. Meanwhile, Jamaica won silver in the first ever mixed 4x100 meters final in 40.44 seconds. And Jamaica's women narrowly missed out on securing a place in the mixed 4x400 meters at the World Athletics Championships after finishing fourth in their second round race in 3 minutes 14.42 seconds. Montego Bay United hold a one-goal advantage over Tivoli Gardens going into today's return leg quarter-final of the Ren Nephi Jamaica Premier League at Sabina Park. Montego Bay won the first leg 2-1 on Friday. Meanwhile, champions Cavalier and Portmore United have it all to play for in their return leg match after the first leg ended 1-1. Champions, the Queen's School and the unbeaten Camperdown will meet in the final of the Issa Urban Area Schoolgirls Basketball Championship. Queens booked their place in the final with a 23-10 win over Holy Childhood in semi-final 1, while Camperdown beat Merlegrove 48-19 in semi-final 2. Coach of Camperdown, Nyron Hurd, says he's eager to renew their rivalry with the Queens.
Looking forward to facing what I would say a good friendly rivalry with Queens, and we'll face them in the finals. It should be a very interesting matchup. Of course, we have our game plan, and we'll see how that goes when it comes to the finals.
Nyron Hurd, coach of Queens, Donald Bimmer, is expressing optimism in retaining the title.
It is elated to reach another final. This will be, I think, my fourth consecutive final, so hopefully we will be successful this year like last year, but it is still in the future, so we are waiting on when the date is set for the final. We'll see how that day presents itself.
Donald Bimmer, coach of Queens, wrapping up your morning sports.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
In business this morning, the White House is in discussions with the royal family of Qatar for a luxury jumbo jet to be used as an Air Force One presidential plane. In a statement, Qatar denied that the plane would be a gift, but confirmed that the transfer was under discussion. It says the aircraft would be for temporary use. According to CBS News, the plane would be donated to Trump's presidential library at the end of his term. The news comes as Trump is set to visit Qatar this week as part of the first major foreign trip of his second term. Ali Al-Ansari, Qatar's media attaché to the U.S., said negotiations were ongoing between Qatar's Ministry of Defense and the U.S. Department of Defense. Al-Ansari said the matter remained under review by the respective legal departments and no decision had been made. Sources told CBS News that the plane will not be ready for use right away, as it will need to be retrofitted and cleared by security officials. The potential value of the plane and its handling is sure to raise legal and ethical questions among critics. Japan's public broadcaster reported on Monday that Nissan Motor Company Limited is set to cut over 10,000 more jobs globally. The move will bring the number of layoffs, including those previously announced, to about 20,000 or 15% of its workforce. Japan's third biggest automaker is striving to make its business leaner and more resilient after weak sales in China and its biggest market, the United States. It is set to announce on Tuesday results for the business year that ended in March. Nissan warned last month it would likely book a record net loss of between 700 billion yen and 750 billion yen in that year due to impairment charges. The car maker missed out on the growing popularity of hybrid models in the U.S. and failed to capitalize on an early lead in electric vehicles there. It has also suffered in China, the world's biggest auto market, where it plans to launch some 10 new vehicles in the coming years to try to halt a slide in sales. CEO Ivan Espinosa, who took up the role last month, is restructuring Nissan's operations and has previously said the company was considering extra measures. Finally, now in foreign exchange trading this morning, the Jamaican dollar will open trading today, selling for an average $160.18 against the benchmark U.S. dollar. The Jamaican dollar will open trading today, selling for an average $115.40 against the Canadian. And finally, the Jamaican will open trading, selling for an average $212.29 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:30.
Switch to your JUTC Smart Fare Card by May 31, 2025. The temperature brought to you by JUTC Smart Fare Card. Transforming your daily commute with smarter, easier, and more reliable travel is
28 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay, and in Mandeville, 22 degrees Celsius.
Are you ready for something mega?
Spend $6,500 or more before GCT, drop your entry in the box and you can win a 2025 Hyundai Tucson. It's the Mega Wheels 2 promotion, April 5th to September 28th. Second prize, a $50,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Third prize, a $30,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Brought to you by Hyundai, Redstone, Heineken, True Milk, Grace, Walker's Wood, Downing, CPJ Daiquiri, and Carryburst Juice Concentrate. Only at Megamart, locations island-wide. Megamart, best value by far. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
In Jamaica, your rights are protected by our Constitution. From the right to education to freedom of expression, every citizen deserves respect and dignity. But remember, with rights come responsibilities. Let's uplift and respect each other and stand against injustice. Together, we can make Jamaica a better place for ourselves and future generations. Know your rights. Embrace your responsibilities. This message was brought to you by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
Bounce up the night,
So my land so fertile, acres more than a zillion man. The people acting wild, pick up cannibal style. One leave for one mama, papa and child. Good morning, Tana Thomas, how you do?
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning to all of you joining us on NTM. Good morning to our YouTubers, our peeps out there in Radio Land. Hello to all of you. Good morning. It is Monday, May 12, 2025. Good morning. I'm Tana.
Good morning, Tana. My name is George. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm here.
Long time I see you.
It's been a couple of days.
Yeah, grow locks on my head, ball, and all these things. Understand?
Oh my goodness, it's been a couple of days.
Oh, it's been a minute. Listeners, good morning. Good morning. I had done some nice research over the week, the weeks leading up to Friday. Yeah, and up to it's early Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. But then I'm saying to myself, I can't come here this morning and speak about anything else.
Yeah.
Other than that which happened on Friday. You were witness to how we were handling the story on Saturday morning. And we got a little setback, but we did justice to the reporting. And what I can say is there's no good thing that comes out of a situation like this. I'd like to look at it this way, though, to say that I'm always heartened, not pleased. I'm always heartened when I see evidence that my country still has its soul. Because the reaction to the rape and murder of Kelsey Ferrigon proves that the country's soul is intact because of the response from people. People are shocked, still shocked this morning. What? Saturday, Sunday, no Monday. 3 days after it happened on Friday. And people are still struggling to come to grips with what they heard about the incident. And I say that because you know that we have every different way in which we have murdered each other over time. And it's almost as if people are desensitized. Mm-hmm. And 5 men get shot. Anyway, I can't forget Cherry Tree Lane and what happened there. I know people, oh God, 8 people and a little boy dead. Oh, yeah. You know, Derek Asep on TikTok. Mm-hmm. Yeah? Moving on immediately. So the fact that Jamaicans are still here makes me hopeful that a nation with its soul intact can move on together to a better reality. Now, I see some people saying about this incident that we failed Kelsey, drifting towards blame of government for the murder. Yes, Tone, I see you furrow your brow. Maybe the listeners can't see. And I say to myself, boy. There we go again. Where in the world is a government's intervention such that an adult who intends to kill a child cannot do so because of the laws that exist, the way the country is run? So you say, well, unlike that place, Jamaica is being run in such a way that an adult can murder a child. And I hear some people baiting me over the past several months. And I'm saying this because one of them who's pushing this narrative about we failed Kelsey. And I say to myself, listen, you better resist the urge to engage in an argument with some frowsy man each up in a somebody back room that they're paying the rent late for. You're bigger than that. Don't mention them, ignore them, carry on. That's what I'm doing this morning. I'm staying on point. Tana, you know, there are some crimes that sit with me. The one that sits heaviest on my chest concerns Neville Lewis, the criminal. It was October 1992. You were nowhere near ready for this earth yet. Mm-hmm. I was in my first month in high school when it happened. And there was a Jamaica Tourist Board executive called Vic Higgs, who had just played some golf in Runaway Bay. He was driving his Honda and got lost. Well, he ran up into a roadblock, saw two men and said, how do I go where I'm going because of the roadblock? Them said, no man, you can turn and go so and so and so. We can carry on and show you. And that was the last time he was seen alive. They robbed him, beat up the man, put his head in the trunk, opened the trunk, slammed down the trunk on the man's neck, then dumped his body in the backside pit. And for some strange reason, I don't know Vic Higgs or anybody who knew him. I didn't know one of the alleged criminals, well, not alleged, one of the criminals, Neville Lewis. I knew nothing, but just hearing the reports of the crime in the media as a little boy and hearing the community talk about it, hearing my granny talk about it, people come at the house talk about it, people on the road talking about it, people in the shop talking about it, the people on the TV talking about it. It just sat with me and I'll never forget that. This one is one of those that I don't think I'll forget this one. Mm-hmm. A 9-year-old little picnic, little girl. And the adult suspected of this crime. I wouldn't even bother ask how, because we cannot ask a month of hows on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. And the explanation still wouldn't make sense to us if we got it. So it don't make sense we ask how. But what kind of wickedness is this? And this person of interest, and Jamaicans should know that the reason the person is not declared a suspect or declared a wanted person, let me put it that way, not declared a wanted person, they're not charged, so that's a different designation. You charge them and you can't find them. You say, well, you're a wanted person. Person of interest at this point. Who is it this morning that knows where that person of interest is and is shielding them? Which clergyman or upstanding member of society who this person would have reached out to, who said, boy, crime is so heinous, the allegations against you are so heinous that I don't have anything to do with this, so I'm not carrying you in. Bring him in, man. See, if you're a pastor this morning, if you're any respectable member of society, if you're a school teacher, if you're in a business and people respect you and this person of interest comes to you and say, boy, a thing going on, police looking for me. And they say, what happened? And he tells you, after you recover from the initial shock, I wanted to bring him in. And I wanted to protect him. Yes, man, I wanted to protect him. I wanted to bring him in under the cover of darkness. Not necessarily night. But bring him in. Bring in this person of interest this morning. Pictures all over social media. I can't imagine where he can be this day, where only he alone knows that he's in that space. So now is the time for this person of interest to step forward with somebody for support. And go in, man. And residents, if you encounter this man, I beg you, just like ACP Phillips, no damage him. Bring him in and let the process take its course. Because as the MP for Central St. Catherine, Olivia Green, said, very important point she made. She said, what Kelsey needs is justice, not revenge. And if you extinguish the life of the person of interest, you would not have helped Kelsey's cause. Because again, as a person of interest, I mean, there's a lot to happen between that and the person being charged. So I mean, okay, suppose it's not the person of interest declared. Suppose it's somebody else. Only after going in and speaking to the police can that be established. And I know how we feel right now. And the police say he is a person of interest. So 1 and 1 are 2. 2 plus 0 are 20. We know how we add. So you see him, beat him to death, take a picture, take videos on social media and see they will kill the boy. No. That's not the best thing in this time. Person of interest, the police have gone as far as that. He needs to go in, answer some questions, and after that, the process will go further. But my God, man, 9 years old, 9, and gone in this way. Man, if you're 9 years old and Carl lick you and kill you, it's the reason for your parents to bawl and loved ones to bawl and family. Much less this way. And that brother who found her, you can understand if that young man never touches another barrel never opens another barrel in his life. Huh? The level of depravity. And this is what we've been saying a long time. I remember when Mark Shields was Deputy Commissioner of Police and him talking about crimes in the home, Tana, and saying that, look, to prevent a lot of these crimes, you would have to have police personnel awake in every yard, in every bedroom, in every pit latrine, in every outside bathroom, in every garage, run every house back. Not just there, but alive and alert, watching all the time to ensure that a man don't take up a knife, cut a woman's throat, a man don't shoot another person, somebody don't hurt a child. That's the only way. And something like this happened and we're going to talk about we failed Kelsey. What rubbish. But anyway, this morning on the phone in the morning, clock ticking, One of these days, I may say, you know what, I let down the handbrake. And those of you who've been baiting me, you get the response you want. But again, George, today is not that morning. Today it's all about Kelsey. And all about justice being served. And all about the person of interest being brought in, turning himself in, for the investigators to determine if you are indeed the one. Spare a thought, listeners. He may not be. He may not be. But
yeah. Protect the babies, yes. Allow them, make them grow now. Madam Bad. How them money are so cool. How them for 1 earth, 1 8-year-old. Me ask a lot for protect them soul when school over.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:48.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The Temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
At Kia, driving your future means joining the movement that inspires. Whether it's the small but mighty Picanto hatchback or the top-of-the-line tech-rich Sorento SUV, there's a Kia that perfectly fits your lifestyle and your budget. ATL Automotive has gotten Jamaicans behind the wheels of thousands of Kias for the past 7 years. And we're ready to get you behind the wheel of a Kia too. Simply visit the nearest Kia showroom for a test drive now.
Lace up and get ready for a run to remember through the lush True Juice orchards in Buckwalk. It's the 10th annual True Juice 5K Run Walk, Sunday, June 8, 2025. Let's make this 10th anniversary bigger and better as we raise funds for the Linstead Hospital. It's going to be special with exciting surprises in store. Register now at TrueJuice5K.com. Entry fee only $3,000. Each participant will receive a free 5K t-shirt. Follow at True Juice on Instagram for more details.
Make a toast to your future. The JTA Cooperative Credit Union is by your side. All educators, the best is what you deserve.
We'll keep your dreams alive.
Competitive loans to help you grow.
We'll take you higher.
Great returns on your savings. A bright future is in the making.
Build the best you with the best credit union. We are committed to serving you.
The JTA Cooperative Credit Union, serving our members, impacting lives positively.
Just before I go to Ludlow this morning, I want to say good morning to a taximan I met on Friday in Clarendon. He says he's going off on the farm work program. He says his name is Moses with the Veer Taxi Association. I saw him in his shirt. So Moses, he says he's an ardent nationwide listener, Tona.
Good morning to you,
Yeah,
Moses.
man. Moses, good morning, and your colleagues at the Veer Taxi Association. Also want to say good morning to a veteran barber. Top man, a man called Leslie Winter, a.k.a. Chips, up there on Constant Spring Road. Good evening, Chips. Good evening to you. And Xavier Brand from the JPS. Met them at that barbershop last evening. Morning to you, Xavier. All the best to you. And yeah, man, Chips. Chips are the real general, yeah? Love when deal with things. So good morning, gentlemen. Ludlow, what's happening on the streets?
Morning. And by extension, all the other drivers, apart from today, the taxi drivers, the bus drivers, the coaches, all those guys on the North for the Express, and all the other passengers traveling. Good morning to you all. Well, the roadways, depending on where you are, because some areas, the movement is still good. For example, if you're along Half a Tree Road, Oxford Road, and going further into the crossroads there, it's not too bad for the timing. Retirement Road normally busy, but it's quite good vehicular movement all the way down to Russell Road, Dundas Road. That area is moving steadily. But where the bulk of the traffic really is on the Mandela, heading into the 6 Miles area, and Wise Boulevard is not too bad, but you're going to notice build-ups at Boulevard, Washington Boulevard there, and Duhaney Drive, and also along Moline Road towards heading Moline Boulevard, and then especially heading towards Moline Road, which there are gaps there, so you have, but the delay is really at the intersections, Moline, Waltham, and then going into Harvey Square and Constant Spring Road. Well, I'll tell you something. Last night, Waterloo Road was the lights at Waterloo Road there, and Hope Road, there was in the vicinity of Devon House there, was not working. And, there was a big crowd up to last night, the Mother's Day situation. So I hope it is working now, but this was late last night. It was out of commission. Anyway, it's our first report for the morning. And remember, motorists, be careful. Proper use of the mirror, very important. We talk again 7:80. Back to you, George.
Yeah, not Ludlow with Mother's Day situation. Anyway, we work with him, and we'll welcome him back for Street Smarts too. Just before we go to the word of the day, news coming out. The Indian Virat Kohli retires from Test cricket after 123 tests, 9,230 runs. He says it's time to pack in the long form of the game.
Your word of the day is spelled Peregrine, spelled Peregrine.
Peregrine. Peregrine. Peregrine.
Peregrine is your word of the day, meaning foreign, alien, or coming from abroad. Traveling or migrating, used in the verb form. Peregrine is your word of the day. Dictionary.com telling us that the word was first recorded between 1350 and 1400. First recorded between 1350 and 1400. To use it in a sentence, those birds in turn then provide a food source for some of the more charismatic birds like peregrine falcons or kestrels. Peregrine is your word of the day, spelt again Peregrine. The definition: foreign, alien, coming from abroad, used in verb form: wandering, traveling, or migrating.
What an awful example. You define peregrine, and then you give an example of the peregrine falcon. That doesn't make sense. I've never heard them do it like that before. That's a bad example. Give an example of the word
peregrine.
That's just so lazy. Anyway, King, take it away.
Dictionary.com.
I forgot down this morning.
I forgot dog.
Living Well is brought to you by the New Walters Pharmacy, Black River, St. Elizabeth. Everything exceptional.
Today on Living Well, the second installment of Why Hasn't Anyone Looked at the Lead Connection? There was a study or investigation that was done in 2013 looking at lead in enamel household paints manufactured by some of the world's leading paint manufacturers in Bangladesh, published in the IOSR, the Journal of Environmental Science, revealed the following. 25 enamel paint samples from 5 brands, 5 colors in each brand, manufactured by the major players Berger, Asian, Roxy, Palac, and Elite Paints, were randomly purchased from various markets in Dhaka, Bangladesh, during the months of January to April 2012. The paint samples were purchased in the sizes of 50 mils, 100 mils, 200 mils, 500 mils, and 1 liter, depending upon the availability. Samples were analyzed by atomic absorption spectrometer using air acetylene flame at the wavelength of 217 micrometers, band pass 0.5 micrometers, measurement time 4 seconds, background correction D2. Prescribed by AA Spectrometers Methods Manual of Thermoelectron Corporation. Lead was found in all enamel paint samples tested, 96%. 24 out of 25 samples of the enamel paint samples did not meet the specification for lead content prescribed by US and China limit. The average concentration of lead in all enamel paint samples ranged from 55 to 114,010 parts per million. The highest, 114,010 parts per million concentration of lead was detected in golden yellow of Rebiolac acrylic destimeter manufactured by Berger Paints, which is 1,267 times higher than the US and China limit for new paints, 99 parts per million. Lead is, however, also used in many other products. For example, pigments, paints, solder, stained glass, lead crystal, glassware, ammunition, ceramic glazes, jewelry, toys, and in some cosmetics and traditional medicines. Drinking water delivered through lead pipes or pipes joined with lead solder may contain lead. The Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation, the IHME, has estimated that based on 2015 data, lead exposure accounted for 494,550 deaths and loss of 9.3 million disability-adjusted life years due to long-term effects on health. The highest burden is in low and middle-income countries. Lead can have serious consequences for the health of children. At high levels of exposure, lead attacks the brain and central nervous system to cause coma, convulsions, and even death. Children who survive severe lead poisoning may be left with mental retardation and behavioral disorders. At lower levels of exposure that cause no obvious symptoms, and that previously were considered safe, lead is now known to produce a spectrum of injury across multiple body systems. In particular, lead can affect children's brain development, resulting in reduced intelligence quotients, behavioral changes such as reduced attention span and increased antisocial behavior, and reduced educational attainment. Lead exposure also causes anemia, hypertension, renal impairment, immunotoxicity, and toxicity to the reproductive organs. The neurological and behavioral effects of lead are believed to be irreversible. It is well known that lead, when it passes over the blood-brain barrier, will lead to violent behavior. Now, I'm not saying that I know this is to be the cause of some of the violence that have been seen in some of our young children. However, knowing that lead is definitely present here, it's worth taking a look at. Push to find out if lead is present where you live, work, or play. That's Living Well for today. Tune in next time for The Dangers of Laxatives.
Living Well was brought to you by the New Walters Pharmacy, Black River, St. Elizabeth. Everything exceptional.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
If you have a hectic schedule and barely get much sleep, I can imagine the bags under your eyes. Let's review a few things you can do. Hi, I'm Tana, and these are your lifestyle pages. Reduce your salt intake. Water will travel from the parts of your body that are low in sodium to the parts that have. The area around your eye is a prime example. That's why a dinner loaded with salt will result in a morning after puffiness. Sleeping on your side or stomach, gravity will cause fluid to collect under your eyes. Try to sleep on your back and add an extra pillow under your head. Ladies, remove your eye makeup before snoozing. It can make your eyes water and cause a case of morning after puffiness. Still swollen? Try chilling them with slices of cucumber or tea bags. I'm Tana. Catch you next time.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore, Kingston Normal Bay. The temperature by National Supply is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 22 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 this morning, Monday, May 12, 2025, police report strong cooperation from residents in search for person of interest in the rape and murder of 9-year-old Kelsey Ferrigan. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the brutal murder again brings to the fore discussions over the publication of the sex offenders registry, and the children's advocate urges continuous support for members of Kelsey's immediate community and at her school. In international news, global stocks rise after the US and China agree tariff cuts.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Nationwide News understands there's a 5-vehicle collision in the vicinity of Zadie Gardens on the Washington Boulevard in St. Andrew. And if you are backed up in traffic, that may be the cause of that particular situation. If you are not yet encountered any traffic, you may want to skirt that area, find an alternative route around the Zadie Gardens intersection with Washington Boulevard, because we understand a 4-vehicle collision is causing a traffic snarl on this Monday morning. Police seeking Giovanni Ellis, the man declared a person of interest in the rape and murder of 9-year-old Kelsey Ferrigan in Joe Blaine, Spanish Town, St. Catherine last Friday, say they have been getting strong cooperation from residents. Head of the Area 5 Police is Assistant Commissioner Christopher Phillips.
The investigation is well advanced. As I said before, we had an immediate case review. The day after, all the teams were there to give their account of what took place. We've started to gather, all the evidence so far. And one thing that is very encouraging is the level of support that we're getting from the community so far. We're following several leads. We continue to appeal to Giovanni Ellis to immediately report to the Spanish Town Criminal Investigation Branch. It is very urgent that he do so, get his lawyer, and report immediately.
Ellis is a 39-year-old labourer of a St. Catherine address. He answers to the alias Cooliman. ACP Phillips is appealing to residents not to take matters into their own hands if they encounter the suspect.
We don't want a situation where the community take things in their own hands and then it creates more problems for us. As we see it, there's no conflict between the person of interest, the side of the family, and the family of the victim. And I think there is an understanding of what really took place. Very unfortunate, very heartbreaking what took place. We just want, a speedy resolve, one that is peaceful and that the perpetrator will be brought to account for his actions as the evidence would unfold.
And ACP Phillips says Ellis is a close friend of Kelsey Ferrigon's family.
A close family friend, I would say. There's one, they share the same yard space basically. But the truth is, he really doesn't live in that area, but his mother is from that area, based on information gathered. He really grew with his father, not in that space, but would come there from time to time because the mother is from that area. Well, I wouldn't want to go much further than to repeat the call for him to immediately report to us. He is a person of interest that we really want to have some word with right away.
ACP Phillips, head of the Area 5 Police. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the brutal murder of a 9-year-old girl in Spanish Town, St. Catherine has again raised the question of whether the sex offenders registry should be made public. Kelsey Cassidy Ferrigon was brutally murdered sometime between 1 and 8 p.m. last Friday. It's reported the child may have been sexually assaulted. Dr. Holness visited her family on Sunday. Colicia Wright reports.
The gruesome murder and suspected rape of 9-year-old Kelsey has been greeted with horror across the country. The child's partially naked body was discovered at her home about 8 p.m. on Friday. Her little body was stuffed upside down in a barrel. Nationwide News understands there are signs the child was sexually assaulted before being dumped in the container. It's also understood there are signs she was beaten. The person of interest in relation to the murder is said to be a repeat offender who was out on bail. He's Giovanni Ellis, otherwise called Cooliman. Prime Minister Holness says this has raised the question about the public availability of the Sex Offenders Registry.
We have recently reformed the Bail Act and we do have in place a Sex Offenders Registry. But I think this incident requires that we take a second look on how we make this Sex Offenders Registry available to the public so that the public can be armed with information to protect themselves. Yes, there are constitutional issues that we have to balance, but where we are in the society, I have said it before and I will say it again, that our laws need to favor the protection of life and the protection of the victim rather than trying to protect the criminals. It is time that the society draws a clear line that we must eliminate the criminals from our society. They mean you no good.
He says the country's laws should be crafted towards protecting innocent lives and eliminating criminals. He says the weaknesses have to be addressed.
The person who is alleged to have committed the crime, we don't know, we are speaking purely now on allegation, is someone who is a repeat offender, someone who is out on bail. And as the mother of the child who perished pointed out, that she had no idea that this man, who was essentially her neighbor, was a repeat offender and was actually out on bail. So that speaks to certain weaknesses, certain issues that we have to take a second look at in our criminal justice system.
Dr. Holness says the fact that residents have not resorted to jungle justice is evidence of their trust in the security forces.
ACP Phillips privately commended you that no one has sought to take matters into your own hands. And I pointed out to him that this is the new Jamaica that you see emerging even out of conflict and these kinds of gruesome situations, where the citizens have confidence that the police will be able to find the perpetrator. The citizens have confidence that the police will bring the perpetrator to justice. And therefore, the people will play their role in cooperating, in providing information, in highlighting the problem, in speaking out against the problem, and in ensuring that this does not happen again.
National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says his ministry is offering a $2 million reward for information leading to the capture of the man implicated in the crime. Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
And a Member of Parliament for Central St. Catherine, Olivia Babsy Grange, has condemned the killing of 9-year-old Kelsey Ferrigan.
The news of the horrific killing in my constituency has shocked and angered the nation. As a nation, we are all pained by this cruel and wicked act of violence. It feels overwhelming to us, but just imagine how much more difficult it is for Kelsey's mother, her family, and her friends, especially on the eve of Mother's Day.
She's urging her constituents to share any information with investigators.
I spent the day in the constituency trying to comfort and commiserate with those who have been affected by this latest act of brutality against a little girl. Like everyone there, I really feel the pain of this vile act to my core. Understandably, there's a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in the constituency, but we need justice for Kelsey, not revenge. I commend the police for the intensity of their investigation so far, and I urge my constituents to work with the police in our pursuit of justice. I'm calling on anyone with information about this horrific incident to make a report to the police.
Olivia Grange, Member of Parliament for Central St. Catherine. And the children's advocate Diane Gordon Harrison is supporting the move by the National Security Ministry to offer a reward for information that will lead to the arrest of the person responsible for the brutal slaying of 9-year-old Kelsey Ferrigan. On Saturday, the ministry announced it will be offering a $2 million reward. Highlighted that she highlighted the importance of continuous psychosocial support in Kelsey's home community and at her school, St. John's Primary.
So psychosocial support is not only a casual desire, it is an absolute need in these circumstances. We note that Kelsey went to St. John's Primary School. I can only stress the need for her classmates and the broader school community to be exposed and to receive intensive counseling support. The other children in the Job Lane community, and very particularly her 5-year-old sibling who was said to be at home with her, and her 16-year-old brother who made the gruesome find. This is an absolutely critical response that will need to happen on a sustained basis to assist them with coping with this very, very tragic set of circumstances.
Diane Gordon Harrison, Children's Advocate. The West Kingston Police the West Kingston Police Division has seen a 23% decline in major crimes since the start of the year. That's according to Commanding Officer Superintendent Brian Henry.
The recent decline in major crimes across Jamaica is also being reflected in the Kingston Western Division. And as we welcome that reduction, we have to continue to acknowledge and commend the hard work and dedication of our police officers and the citizens and our valued stakeholders who continue to work with the police for a safer Jamaica. So since January, the Kingston Western Division is reflecting a 23% reduction in major crimes. Murders, shootings, rape, robberies, and break-ins all have shown decline in comparison to last year.
The country has recorded a near 40% reduction in murders since the start of the year. The month of April ended with 44 reported murders, the lowest number recorded in any one month in Jamaica in 25 years. Superintendent Henry notes that strategies are being implemented to bring about a reduction in the division.
We are currently seeing one murder higher than last year, 18 versus 17. Our strategies, however, should see us moving into reduction going forward. The division has a fairly good year last year. We recorded some 30+% reduction in murders last year. Hence, we are competing against a relatively good year. We wish to continue to assure the residents of the Kingston Western Division and Jamaica that the division is working assiduously and we are committed to their safety and security.
Superintendent Brian Henry, commanding officer for the Kingston West Police. Opposition Senator Peter Bunting has accused the government of contributing to delays in the completion of a construction project at Prattville Primary School in South Manchester. Bunting is the PNP caretaker in South Manchester. He told the Senate last Friday that the contractor on the project has stopped working because the government has not paid him.
I drew the attention of the Senate to the plight of the children at Prattville Primary. This was before the hurricane, Beryl, by the way. Water was pouring in through the roof. The structure of the building was rusting away, etc. The electricals were also inundated with water. And you have here, Beryl, of course, displaced the students from the school altogether. You have here that the status of the school is 95% complete. But payments have only been 60%. And what I can tell you that no work has taken place on this school for the last couple months because, as I understand it, the contractor has not been paid. The ministry is way behind on its payments.
Senator Bunting says the delays are causing severe problems for students across various grades at the school.
These classrooms were 95% when I visited at the harvest in March, the harvest celebration of the school. 2 months later, we still have the grades 2 to 6 students crammed into the infant department. The students from the infant and grade 1 are still in a church hall. This is almost at the end of the school year. They have been in the church hall for basically the entire school year up to now. They're now contemplating putting those little infants and grade 1 students on remote learning. And as anyone who has had a young child on remote learning, it doesn't work for that age.
Senator Peter Bunting, PNP caretaker for South Manchester. But a man who claims to be the contractor on the project, Carl Robinson, says that Senator Bunting's claim is false. He says the ministry does not owe him a cent.
I must say the ministry does not owe me any submission of payment. There's no submission of payment that I have not received. So presently, the only thing Mr. Bunting is right with is that the work is 95% complete, but what needs to be done does not construct at the school. It's being done at the workshop to take and install by the school.
Robinson, who was speaking on the Jamaica Politics Uncovered YouTube show, says the scope of work increased as the project unfolded.
This is one of those Canadian upstairs building where built with mostly curling and iron and such. So when we start strip the building, that's when we start discover that the work is far more than what was expected. So within that now, the ministry had to go back to the drawing board for variation. The next thing that affects the contract is the storm, and the next thing, the turf that they had, where we had problem getting material. Sometime it takes 2 weeks for you to get material whenever you are to purchase material. So we do our best to bring the school to the state where it is now.
Carl Robinson, a building contractor. Overseas news now. Global stocks soared in early trading on Monday after the United States and China agreed to slash tariffs on each other's goods for 90 days. The BBC is reporting that this is a major de-escalation in the trade war between the world's two biggest economies. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said both sides will cut tariffs by 115% from Wednesday after trade talks in Geneva at the weekend. It means U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports will fall to 30%, while Chinese tariffs on U.S. goods will fall to 10%. It's a bigger cut than expected by analysts, but 30% is still a high tariff. That's the news.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:18.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Oterius, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5, or Lot C6, Drax Hall, St. Anne's Bay. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Plug into the sun with Peak Energy Solutions. We are your affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, lithium batteries, solar supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito Valley Road, Red Hills, St. Andrew. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy for everything solar.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning again, Ludlow.
Morning again, George. And what's happening on the eastern side? We're talking about parts of St. Andrew Bull Bay, heading into Harbour View, Kingston 17, and just to get to the roundabout, it's going to be a bit challenging. But once you clear that, it's okay going on Sir Florida Glassfold Highway. And it's the same thing if you're coming from the Norman Manley Airport or Port Royal. That stretch there is good, Michael Manley Highway. The Norman Manley Highway, sorry. And going all the way from Sir Florida all the way to Manley Meadows, Michael Manley Boulevard, all the way to Port Royal Street. It's pretty good movement, yes, but we know the road on the other side. It's a little bit busier as you make your way towards Victoria Avenue, then to East Queen Street, then to East Parade. Going up Camp Road, South Camp Road, also movement there, but the intersections are busy. Camp and North Street going further up towards the Tom-Redcom area there, where you see traffic coming from Tom-Redcom onto Camp Road and making it around to Caledonia, then Marasca Road, going further down the East Street. I should also make mention that the boulevard is still busy, quite active. Maline's still busy coming off Red Hills, onto Red Hills Road, going further down to connect with Constant Spring, with Dunrobin and Boulevard overhead, and going further down towards Eastwood Park Road. And Constant Spring, all lanes are busy, southbound heading into After Tree Square, as well as South Avenue, both off Waterloo, both and off Constant Spring Road. So quite a busy Monday morning, and no doubt the traffic continues after the support. But I urge you, as usual, to be careful. And, you know, while you're maneuvering, your indicator, your wing mirrors, and all of these, it will help you a lot. And remember, the intersections, do not block. Do not block the intersections. It makes it really difficult. So, as usual, Street Smart, your safety is our concern. George, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ludlow McLean there with Street Smart 2, reminding you that there was a 4-vehicle collision earlier on the Washington Boulevard in the vicinity of Zayda Gardens before you reach that overpass, Red Hills Road, going to your left and, well, continuing on the right to Halfway Tree. So if you are in the traffic and wondering what the dickens is happening, that's what's happening, yeah? So if you can avoid the area, if you can reroute, please do so to avoid delays. Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. You're now tuned in to the Front Page. Now, on the Front Page this morning, Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Paula Llewellyn, has revoked the general fiat previously granted to the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, and the Natural Resources Conservation Authority, the NRCA, which allowed them to prosecute environmental breaches independently. In a statement issued Friday, Ms. Llewellyn announced that her office has assumed full responsibility for prosecuting all such cases formerly handled by the agency. This move follows a public backlash over NEPA and NRCA's November 2024 decision to halt prosecution of Tradewinds Citrus for a December 2023 oil spill in the Rio Cobre, following a confidential settlement reached with the company. The agreement was made without consultation with the DPP's office or the relevant ministry. Environmental advocacy groups condemned the decision and wrote to then acting DPP Claudette Thompson in December 2024 requesting an investigation. In response, the DPP's office has committed to providing periodic training to NEPA and NRCA on prosecutorial best practices. Furthermore, an assistant DPP and 2 Crown Counsel will support the agencies during investigations and in decisions to prosecute. NEPA may now apply for a prosecutorial fiat on a case-by-case basis. If granted, prosecutions must be conducted by a clerk of court or Crown Counsel designated by the DPP. Meanwhile, the DPP's office has secured a guilty plea in one of the 7 cases it took over from the agencies. Azuri Chemicals pleaded guilty on Friday to constructing a facility for the storage of hazardous and toxic materials in breach of Section 9.2 of the Natural Resources Conservation Authority Act. The company was fined $50,000, the maximum penalty allowed under the law. For more, we're being joined by the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP Paula Llewellyn, and to be joined as well by the Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions, Dwayne Green. DPP, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Tona. Good morning, George.
Morning.
Good morning to your listeners. Good morning, Dwayne. Mr. Green, if you're on.
He's not on yet, but he's due to... Okay, he's on now, I'm being told by my producer. Good morning to you, Mr. Green.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you as well for joining us here on the Front Page. First of all, DPP Llewellyn, the case in relation to Tradewinds Citrus was in the public domain, reported a lot on last year. I wanted to hear from you what you made of the approach taken by NEPA as well as the parish court at the time in relation to that case.
Well, I think, let me say that my press release, Mr. Green, who is my point person now, Assistant DPP, who will be heading the team that has been dealing with environmental breaches and the cases that were taken over from NEPA, assisted me in terms of this probe that we did. Now, you know, I am not a tear-down artist, and I always like to be constructive and motivating. But I think what happened here was just inexperience on all sides. When the DPP issues a fiat to external counsel from any agency or from anyone, it just doesn't end there. The clerk of court, if it's a matter in the parish court, retains some aspect of supervisory control, because the clerk of court is supposed to be the eyes and ears of the DPP, and if there's any issue there which may point to mishandling or lack of experience or anything like that, and the clerk of court is at liberty to conduct the prosecution or to report back to the office to indicate that we need to take a close look or we may need to revoke the fiat. And I don't want any sinister thing to be put to it, because what a lot of persons, sometimes we at the office, and Mr. Green can tell you that we have a little chuckle when we hear different agencies talking about, we want prosecutorial powers, we want prosecutorial powers. And what you all don't know, that very often in the back, we still have to be advising, giving a lot of advice to the same agencies that are crying for prosecutorial powers, because prosecution is an art. It is an experience-driven occupation, and that is what you rest your judgment on, right? So when we looked at it, and the probe was commenced by then acting DPP Claudette Thompson, it was quite clear that there was some lack of experience, both with the NEPA external counsel and the clerk of court, and I won't say any further, but that all around there was a lack of experience. You see, unlike...
But Madam DPP, if I may, if it is that the lack of experience from your vantage was so pronounced in this matter, why did it take correspondence from that big group of concerned individuals to nudge you into this kind of action?
Well, the thing about it is that it didn't take the letter from that group of individuals, because from the moment it happened, as we do in other cases, we had commenced a probe, because my information is that the then acting DPP called for the file, because when we because of the powers of the office holder of the DPP, we can call for a file in any court at any time, and the judge, nobody can say that we're not to get the file. So once we heard it happening, this is my understanding, in the public domain, the file was sought so that we could look at it. Because remember, George, we cannot go by emotion and get into the hue and cry. We have to be methodical.
So for all intents and purposes, then, Madam, you could have gotten here with this detailed press release that you issued and now talking to us. You could have gotten here without that letter from the group of 39.
That is indeed so. That is indeed so, because it's a process, and you see, when you issue a fiat, usually it is between the external counsel and the clerk of court now on the ground to decide who is going to handle the actual prosecution. When you have a fiat as opposed to watching proceedings means that you as external counsel, you can only watch. You have no right of audience to the court, and you don't have the right to look into the file or to prosecute. When you have permission from the DPP to associate with the prosecution, usually it can happen that the prosecutor, the career prosecutor, which is the clerk of court or crown counsel, will continue the prosecution, and the external counsel will have, close discussions and will have access to the file and to be able also to speak to the witnesses. But in this case, I believe that it seems that on the ground, it was the external counsel who were going to be handling the prosecution.
Let's take a break, Madam DPP. We'll come back some more from you, and of course, we speak to Mr. Green as well.
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
7:32.
Fix up with Fleetwood products for your home improvement, personal care, and aromatherapy needs. They have your well-being in mind. Available at retailers island-wide. The temperature by Fleetwood Jamaica is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Yo, my boss.
Yo,
my general.
Yeah.
Yo, my king.
Yeah.
The new BK Mega Stacker. Come for run everything. Choose your style. Double, triple, or quad stack. Juicy grilled beef. Plus crispy bacon, some stackerific sauce, and layers of melted cheese. So if you think you can angle it, stackify yourself today. Order the BK Mega Stacker and have it your way. The new BK Mega Stacker. Built for satisfaction. Limited time. Only at Burger King.
Celebrate mom with the Jamaica Observer's 4 Moms Mother's Day promotion. Win big for mom with a $50,000 cash prize, appliances, gift certificates, movie passes, and more. Just spend $6,000 or more with your multi-link card. Grab the Daily Observer, complete the entry form, and submit it with your receipt. 4 lucky moms will win. Enter by May 16th and make this Mother's Day unforgettable. See the Jamaica Observer for more details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Calling all golfers. The 3rd annual Stories to Create charity golf tournament is happening on July 19 at the Constant Spring Golf Course, and you don't want to miss it. Come out and compete in 8 exciting challenges, from longest drive to beat the pro. And yes, you'll get your shot at $5 million in the hole-in-one contest. Prizes, surprises, and a powerful cause supporting youth and storytelling programs through EHAS Inc. Register now and swing with purpose. Visit ehasinc.org or email info@ehasinc.org, and we'll see you on the green.
A mother's journey of love shared from generation to generation gave her the ultimate relaxation and escape to Adam and Eve Day Spa and Salon for a mommy-made new experience this Mother's Day, Sunday, May 11. Book now at www.adamandevedayspaja.com. Purchase gift certificates or call 876-754-6018. Get mom the perfect gift of love. This Mother's Day, let Team Adam and Eve take her on a spa journey. She deserves it.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. We have Madam DPP on her line, and one on the line rather, and one of the assistant DPPs. This NEPA matter, very interesting, the statement issued by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. I urge you to read for a complete understanding. It germinates from the Tradewind Citrus issue, but it concerns way more than that. And the EPP says, listen, this fiat that NEPA enjoyed, listen, we're going to step in and take charge of matters. They can apply for a watching brief, but we will handle things from here on in. I'm just summing it up for you until you go and read for yourself. Yes, madam.
I don't want you to think that there's anything punitive here. We all act in the interest of justice. Mm-hmm. And we have had very, very fruitful meetings with the managing director, Mr. Francis, and the legal team there, and have come to a very good understanding. We are drafting a memorandum of understanding. We have already commenced training, which Mr. Green.
Yes, I'm going to ask him about the training. But Madam DPP, before you go further, listen, no, Madam, what I'm saying is this.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to beat to teach. So there's nothing wrong with there being a punitive element to it if the end result is to strengthen NEPA's capacity, which I read into your statement, and to ensure that the public believes that when these entities when they commit environmental breaches, that it's not some poppycock measure that follows, that justice is served. Those are the important things. So I read them as one and the same. Sometimes you have to be to teach, Madam DPP. That's a fact.
I would beg to differ on that, because the thing is that I don't believe in throwing out the baby with the bathwater. In my neck of the woods, it is helpful to have good and positive relationships. And they have been very receptive in terms of training, what you have done so far, and Mr. Green will tell you, so receptive that certainly at every step of the way now, they are almost like deodorant under his arm in terms of consultation.
So let me
want to learn.
Yeah, so let me ask Mr. Green then. So, Mr. Green, what now is NEPA and its agents. What do they know now that perhaps they didn't quite understand before?
Well, again, good morning to you and your listeners. And as Madam Director had indicated earlier, the whole purpose behind this training exercises rather, and the collaboration is really to strengthen the prosecutorial capacities of NEPA. And what we can say is they now have a better understanding as it relates to what the approach to prosecution should be, how you assess your file, discussions you have with the defense, and decisions that are to be taken in the best interest of justice. Because as Madam Director had indicated earlier, we are career prosecutors. This is what we do every day. So when you might have a situation where there are 2, 3, 4, or 5 environmental breaches per year, which would probably be taken before the court, as career prosecutors, we're in court almost every day. So they've had the benefit of seeing how we think, looking at decisions that we have made, looking at how we approach case file assessment, and I can say that there have been significant improvements in relation to how they approach these matters.
And DPP, coming back to the point of if it is that they apply for a prosecutorial fiat on a case-by-case basis, they get it. In carrying out what they do in court, what has been said to NEPA in relation to these confidential settlement agreements, as was the case with Tradewinds?
Well, and first of all, even if they do get a fiat, it will be on condition that the prosecution is handled by Crown Counsel or the clerk of court. But what it will do is give them access to be able to speak with the witnesses, who will be their witnesses anyway, and they would be right there every day with the prosecution of the matter, but they would not be on their feet making the prosecutorial decisions or conducting the trial. Now, what has been said, and they understand, that a non-disclosure agreement is not a modality that the criminal law and procedure accommodates. So there will be no more of that sort of thing happening. And as I said and I explained, the more appropriate modality would have been a plea deal, what we call a plea deal. This can be informal, or what I would have advised them, to make it a formal plea deal under the plea deal and negotiation, which, can I tell you, Jamaica leads the way in terms of how often we use a formal plea negotiation in the Caribbean. I know because I've been invited to do training in several of the other countries.
Yeah.
And at these 4 countries, it is just last year that they have come with their legislation.
Yeah.
So a plea deal would have been better because it is factual when we looked at the very detailed and comprehensive report that NEPA had prepared. It was quite clear that extensive mitigation had been done by the authorities in Tradewinds. So in our way of looking at a plea deal, for example, that would have been compelling mitigating factors that the defense could have brought to bear in terms of getting their sentencing reduced in exchange for pleading early in the matter.
Let me point 20 in your missive, Madam DPP, point 20C. There's a line here that caught my eye. It says, any fiat if granted will be on condition, you just said it, but let me read it back again. Any fiat if granted will be on condition that the actual prosecution will be handled by a clerk of court or a crown counsel assigned by the DPP. So in all circumstances, the DPP will do more than standing like a genie on the shoulder of the NEPA lawyer. It will be handled. Right. So why then make so much in the statement about them still being able to apply for a fiat when in real terms your office will be running things from here on in?
Yes, but you see, what the fiat does, it gives you permission to associate with the crown. So it means that they can be sitting there beside the prosecutor. They will have access to be able to look at the file. If the prosecutor is speaking to the investigator or the police in the matter, they are there as part of the discussion. And you see, this is part and parcel of the mentoring. That's how you mentor, and that's how you build capacity. So with prosecution, as Dwayne was saying, we do it every day. You see, like how you are on the air every day, every single day. So after a while, George and Tona, the kind of experience and how to navigate certain things and how not to drop. You know which ball to play and which ball to leave alone. And it comes from experience. When you have a rookie coming on, they are there with you, but you're not going to throw them out there until they are ready. So coming from this, I think the lawyers at NEPA have a much better appreciation of what they may lack in terms of experience. Because ordinarily, I mean, Dwayne can tell you, we are accustomed, we don't do environmental breach matters unless something like this happens. Because, you know, we are dealing with involved fraud cases, involved murders. For example, we're going to start the Noel Maitland matter this morning. We are doing the Maradine matter in Westmoreland. These are very, very, very involved matters. So sometimes lawyers may think, and we too, because we don't do these matters, they are parish court matters, that prosecution is simpler than what it actually appears. But these environmental breaches, first of all, it's a very critical and important area in terms of governance in the country. Secondly, it is important that the best prosecutorial practice and rigor is brought to bear. Because one of the matters, Dwayne, you can tell them, when he went, he saw King's Counsel in the matter.
Indeed.
And from what he told me when he came back, King's Counsel was very disappointed when she saw that the office of the DPP was there. And in the matter, King's Counsel is saying certain things. But because of his experience, he was able to counter-maneuver and neutralize some of what she was saying.
Yes.
And when particular orders were requested, we could show, using our experience, why it should not be granted.
Yes,
and
yes.
why we should put the matter for another mention date to allow A, B, C, and D.
Yes.
And the court will give, because environmental breach matters are not matters that the courts come across that often either.
Yes.
So everybody's on a learning curve.
I accept that. We're almost out of time, but Mr. Green, let me ask you this. What informed who participated in the training? Did NEPA nominate officers from different units, or did you ask for these and these and these people to be present?
Well, we didn't specifically request any particular group of persons, other than to say persons who normally interact with the investigation, the enforcement, the testing. So what we tried to do was to give them an idea as the group of persons who we would wish to participate in the training, because whereas the lawyers may be the persons who before would have gone to court, it would have benefited a lot to have the investigators, the enforcement officers, along with the analysts to be a part of the training exercise, so they too can understand what the file should look like from as early as the investigatory stage.
Right. And I did say a lot, but last, DPP, tell me this, just complete this continuum for me. So an environmental breach happens. Effluent pumped into the river. It's reported. NEPA's enforcement team investigates, writes a report, pollution and monitoring write a report. It comes back to NEPA. NEPA's legal department, what do they do now? Do they prepare a file and send it to you for a decision as to whether charges should be proffered or not, and then you go forward with the court matter? That's how it will work from here on in?
Well, I am here in a mentoring capacity with my assistant director, so I'll allow him to...
Yes, Mr. Green, take that one from me now.
Well, as you... Indeed, you're correct. So what is required going forward, once the file is compiled, they'll send a copy of that file to the DPP's office, and then we will review, and once all is well, then we will give necessary directions as to how this matter should proceed.
So NEPA's independence really ends at investigation of the matter?
I yield to Madam Director.
Listen, you want to put it that way as opposed to get a good sound bite?
No, madam, we just want to be clear on the process.
How we look at it, it will be an enhancement of collaboration and consultation from day one. Because when they investigate, just like with other matters, they may investigate, review the file, and we have a discussion and a meeting and say, no, we need A, B, C to tie up certain things because this will be required, and we explain why. So going forward, we are both marching in lockstep with each other. And Mr. Green attended. I decided to hold back the press release until he went to all of the matters. And the last matter he went to on May 9th, on Friday, I let him tell you what happened. And you see, this is where experience counts, because the discussion that he had with Defense Counsel. Given his experience, the Defense Counsel could see the best way, for the interest of justice to be properly served for everybody would be to take the course that was taken. But we are experienced with having those sorts of discussions. NEPA's lawyers would not be.
Hear you on that. We're out of time. Thank you this morning, Mr. Green. Thank you, Madam DPP.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. Good.
Burnshack fried chicken always ready. Burnshack, original crispy. Burnshack, Cajun spicy. Burnshack, a barbecue. Burnshack, we are going Burnshack.
The time brought to you by Burnshack Fried Chicken in Kingston, Montego Bay, and Ocho Rios is
7:48.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Looking for a partner on your financial journey? Look no further. JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited offers attractive loan specials and easy savings plans. Plus, becoming a member is simple. If you're over the age of 16 and want to join a credit union that truly cares about your financial wellness, you may be eligible for membership. Conditions apply. Call or visit us at www.jpscu.com to find out more and start building your future today. JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited, your financial partner for life.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Blenza Skincare is celebrating 30 years of excellence. That's right, 30 years of glowing skin and trusted care. Our services include customized facials tailored to your unique skin, electrolysis and laser hair removal, tattoo removal, EM sculpt for face and body contouring, and a safe and effective wart removal. Call us at 876-667-7002 or WhatsApp us at 876-505-4296 to book your appointment today. Blenza Skincare, 30 years of beauty, confidence, and results.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Still tuned in to the front page. As you know, or many of you might be aware, the Prime Minister and other members of government visited Kelsey Ferguson's family at the weekend following her brutal murder there in Spanish Town, St. Catherine on Job Lane. And the Prime Minister during that visit again raised the question of whether the sex offenders registry should be made public. Kelsey Cassidy Ferguson was brutally murdered sometime between 1 and 8 p.m. last Friday. The child's partially naked body was discovered at her home about 8 p.m. on Friday. Her little body was stuffed upside down in a barrel. It's reported that the child may have been sexually assaulted. Police, they're seeking Giovanni Ellis, the man declared a person of interest in the rape and murder of the 9-year-old. Let's take a listen to an excerpt of the Prime Minister's presentation during his visit in St. Catherine.
And I have many friends who are from the area. I haven't been hearing about this area in any bad way for a long time. So I know that this is one of the communities that is uplifting themselves, being positive. And then for this to happen, to come and reflect badly on the entire community, you don't have to tell me that none of you here support that. And all of you are distressed as I am. And I also know that all of you are giving your support to the family who suffered this very tragic loss. The Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of the area pointed out to me that you have all been very supportive and cooperative with the police, because you are all of the view that whoever committed this act must be brought to justice. But ACP Phillips also privately commended you that no one has sought to take matters into your own hands. And I pointed out to him that this is the new Jamaica that you see emerging, where the citizens have confidence that the police will be able to find the perpetrator. The citizens have confidence that the police will bring the perpetrator to justice. And therefore, the people will play their role in cooperating, in providing information, in highlighting the problem, in speaking out against the problem, and in ensuring that this does not happen again. Once that strong relationship starts to emerge between the citizens and the police, we will have a safer Jamaica and a safer community. This incident must be considered a turning point. The person who is alleged to have committed the crime, we don't know, we are speaking purely now on allegation, is someone who is a repeat offender, someone who is out on bail. And as the mother of the child who perished pointed out, that she had no idea that this man was a repeat offender and was actually out on bail. So that speaks to certain issues that we have to take a second look at in our criminal justice system. We have recently reformed the Bail Act, and we do have in place a sex offenders registry. But I think this incident requires that we take a second look on how we make this sex offenders registry available to the public, so that the public can be armed with information to protect themselves. Yes, there are constitutional issues that we have to balance, but where we are in the society, I have said it before and I will say it again, that our laws need to favor the protection of life and the protection of the victim rather than trying to protect the criminals. It is time that the society draws a clear line that we must eliminate the criminals from our society. They mean you no good. They mean you no good. And I know that there is an ambivalence, but we are drawing the line now that those who are involved in criminal activities, we can't support them anymore. Because it could have been your child, innocent, has nothing to do with anything. So, in as much as the society is emerging now with confidence in the police, the society must also resolve itself and be unambiguous in being against criminals. So I want to thank the community for supporting the police. I urge you to continue to speak out against this. This cannot be a reflection of the community. And if anyone knows anything, if you have any information, please share it. The Minister of National Security has announced a reward of $2 million. Please tell us what you know and claim the reward.
The Prime Minister there speaking in Job Lane, visiting the family of Kelsey. Also on that visit was the Member of Parliament for Central St. Catherine, Olivia Babsy Grange. She has denounced the tragic killing of Kelsey and is calling on her constituents to assist investigators by coming forward with any relevant information.
The news of the horrific killing of 9-year-old Kelsey Farrington in my constituency has shocked and angered the nation. As a nation, we are all pained by this cruel and wicked act of violence. It feels overwhelming to us, but just imagine how much more difficult it is for Kelsey's mother, her family, and her friends, especially on the eve of Mother's Day. As the Minister for Gender Affairs and as Kelsey's Member of Parliament, I ask that we remember the family and the entire community in our prayers. As government, we will provide all the support that we can at this time, but your thoughtful prayers will also be appreciated. I spent the day in the constituency trying to comfort and commiserate with those who have been affected by this latest act of brutality against a little girl. Like everyone there, I really feel the pain of this vile act to my core. Understandably, there's a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in the constituency, but we need justice for Kelsey, not revenge. I commend the police for the intensity of their investigation so far, and I urge my constituents to work with the police in our pursuit of justice. I'm calling on anyone with information about this horrific incident to make a report to the police. The Minister of National Security is offering $2 million for information, which we hope will lead to the quick capture of the perpetrator in this case. It's a sad day. It really is a sad day.
Olivia Babsy-Grange, the Gender Affairs Minister and Member of Parliament for Central St. Catherine. This discussion about the sex offenders registry, I remember in the early to mid 2000s there was a horse that came on a spark called Antioch. And one of my favorite pastimes is to spend hours just googling random horses' names to see what it means, because there's always a story there. So I checked this one and I found out that Antioch it only means other things, but one of the definitions, one of the meanings of Antioch is a place in California, in the San Francisco suburbs, where sex offenders live. So it was a product of the failed housing boom in the United States, where people's homes were foreclosed and people abandoned the communities. They couldn't afford the homes and nobody wanted to buy them. So people who were registered sex offenders in California moved to Antioch because it was a community of like-minded people or people with past criminal convictions. So they formed a community, lived there. People knew they were there. The police didn't go there. The sheriff's department didn't go there. So they just formed this community and everybody knew that, Antioch is where sex offenders lived. And, so there is no such safe haven in Jamaica. So, publicly listing sex offenders, and it's not a knee-jerk reaction. A knee-jerk reaction won't do, especially amid the heightened tensions around Kelsey's murder. So it's a discussion that we need to have seriously and with sobriety to see if that's the best course of action. There is no Antioch in Jamaica, and
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales. For a better choice in the electrical business.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8 o'clock.
Success, powered by learning. The temperature, brought to you by Sandals Corporate University. Come grow with us, is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's across Jamaica this morning.
In across Jamaica this Monday morning, the St. Mary police captured a man wanted on gun charges in Portland last Thursday. He is a 33-year-old Jason Anderson, otherwise called Skidda or Skibbo, of Sandside District, Port Maria, St. Mary. He also frequents Hilltop Snow Hill in Portland. Anderson was wanted in connection with a 2022 shooting in Sandside, St. Mary. He was later charged with illegal possession of a firearm, illegal possession of ammunition, and wounding with intent. The allegations are that Anderson shot and injured a construction worker after an argument developed between him and another man. He reportedly threatened the man and returned with a firearm which he allegedly used to fire at the man. The incident unfolded on March 9. Anderson is scheduled to appear in the Port Maria Parish Court this Thursday, May 15. In the meantime, the police is urging anyone with information that can assist in ongoing investigations or in locating other wanted persons to contact the Port Maria Police at 876-333-9530 or 876-994-4222 or Crime Stop at 311. The National Water Commission says its customers in sections of St. Andrew are experiencing a disruption in their water supply. This is due to a broken main on the West Norbrook Heights network. The Commission says the disruption will extend until 5 p.m. today, Monday, May 12. It says every effort is being made to have water supply restored as soon as possible. 43-year-old Tequil Ingram, otherwise called Junior or Jamie of Woodsworth Avenue, Kingston 20, was reported missing on Sunday. He is of dark complexion, medium build, and about 5 feet 10 inches tall. Reports from the Duhaney Park Police are that Ingram's mode of dress and when he was last seen are unconfirmed. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Tequil Ingram is being asked to contact the Duhaney Park Police at 876-933-4280, the 119 police emergency number, or the nearest police station. That's it for Across Jamaica for this Monday morning. I'm Tawna Thomas.
Outperform, outlast, we top performance, Chakama, reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy electrodes, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61114. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Lace up and get ready for a run to remember through the lush True Juice orchards in Buckwalk. It's the 10th annual True Juice 5K Run Walk, Sunday, June 8, 2025. Let's make this 10th anniversary bigger and better as we raise funds for the Linstead Hospital. It's going to be special with exciting surprises in store. Register now at TrueJuice5K.com. Entry fee only $3,000. Each participant will receive a free 5K t-shirt. Follow at True Juice on Instagram for more details.
Welcome back, listeners. Remember, we were telling you about a motor vehicle crash on Washington Boulevard in the vicinity of Zadie Gardens. We understood 4 vehicles. Well, we're getting 2 videos, and boy, a couple loose words spoken, so we can't play the audio, but you can see, and then we can describe for our listeners what happened. But at least, a couple of those vehicles appeared to be traveling very, very quickly, given the damage to the cars. And we're not getting any news of any fatalities, but some people looked a bit, I don't want to say worse for wear, but looked in a bad way, looked in bad shape then. So we're lining up the video for you so our YouTube viewers can watch, and then we'll have to describe for the listeners what the video is showing. Happened in the vicinity of Zadie Gardens. My producer and Jermaine telling me both are telling me that people who use that section, they always are traveling at knots trying to beat the stoplight at Zadie Gardens. And that it's always a dangerous place. You have to be watching very carefully, and especially taxis, and a couple of taxis were involved in this crash. You would not be surprised to know. So this is the video now. So we're showing you. So the person recording is behind a JUTC bus. So we see one vehicle, bumper smashed up, and then what looks like a Suzuki Vitara also smashed up. That looks like a Nissan.
Tida.
Yeah, Tida. Vitara. Ooh, Vitara chewed up badly. Woman on the ground, a man on the ground being attended to, almost like they're giving him CPR. Then another man on his back. This is where the taxi comes in now, because it looks like is that a Probox or one of the Honda Streams with a sliding door? It looks like a Honda Stream with a sliding door involved as well. So 4 vehicles from the account of the person recording, and 2 people, well, one woman in pink and a man in blue on their backs and getting first aid rendered. But that don't look good at all. Yeah? You played the second one already, King? So we played the first one, the longer one, so this is just another angle. And there's a lady in pink beside the Tida. Several people gathered around her. And then this gentleman, and look, they're trying to talk to him. And he may have been pulled from the taxi. Looks like a Honda Stream that was involved. So that happened early this morning. King, was it about, it was before 7 o'clock, right? Yeah, it was sometime after 6 this morning along Washington Boulevard.
Yeah, breathing heavily, that gentleman in blue. Seems like he's in a lot of pain as well, based on the expressions on his face. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of a lot of pain, as we move from that situation, I was doing a game last night in the CASAFA Championship, and I saw something that made me cringe. One of the players for Olympic Gardens in the first half, Alex Alexander, he was dribbling and he was challenged by one of the JDF players and shoved. I mean, it happens 35 million times in football games every week, everywhere. And he fell and dislocated his elbow. And you could see immediately I just had shivers because my shoulders, and he was he had to be substituted and they take him off on the stretcher.
But of course.
And then they were there trying to pop the elbow back in place and that just caused more agony for him, and it was a difficult one. They went on to lose 2-1 to JDF. So JDF will play August Town in the final of the CASAFA Championship. Anyway, Michelle, do we take some calls this morning? Do we advertise the line? 630-9371, 9372, 9373, 9374, 618-8255. Please, Mr. King, to give us a spot of music on this heavy morning until the calls come in, no? Lift the gloom.
Yes. So the numbers again: 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-8255.
These are the trumpets making the sound. Hey, watch over us. Emperor Selassie, hide them your roads, rugged and steep. I know it is a must for us to make it home, even through them you're gnashing of teeth. Hey, guide over us, Holy Emmanuel, Isis, Lanis could never get weak. I know it is a must for us to make it home, through them you're gnashing of teeth. These are those who constantly they have been placing the rocks on the traps, leaving devil snares laying, and then wish for all of them hate to be falling. Yet in a them face the witness die uprising, feeling high, making it onto my way. No apology, fire on them every day. Conspiracy leads what you wanted us to be.
Yesterday marked 44 years since Bob Marley's body left Earth, because if you say Bob Marley dead, you'd be lying. We've been talking about him every darn day since then, and we'll talk about him until the Earth exists.
Yep.
So 44 years since Bob's
He
body
lives
left.
on.
Oh yes, yes. You never die. You never die. We have Naveen online. Good morning, Naveen.
Hi, good morning, Tana, and I think George, is it?
Yes, man. Same one.
Okay,
Good morning to you, Naveen.
Morning. I'm just calling to respectfully raise a concern that usually we are asking persons to desist from videoing scenes of accidents and posting it. But I understand that this is what you've just been reading out and inviting persons to go to see it and, describing the scene and what the person's wearing and who not and how badly it looks. So I'm wondering if that really coincides with the values that you keep saying that person shouldn't be videoing these things.
Right, Naveen, we normally ask of persons not to post deceased victims who are, their bodies are maimed in a particular way. We normally ask of persons not to post those or murder victims online or anywhere on social media for that matter.
Mm-hmm. I was just listening to George describing the scene, and I'm saying if it is as gruesome as it is, then I wouldn't want.
No, man, it wasn't a gruesome scene, though, Naveen. That's the difference. So the principle, no, man, the principle that you are holding is perfectly right, and we act in accordance with what you think we act in accordance with. But this scene was, the cars were smashed up. There was a lady on her back. People were just attending to her, fanning her and everything else. And then there was a man breathing heavily on his back as well.
Being assisted similarly.
Right. So if there were broken limbs and gruesome images, no, we wouldn't have shown them.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just hearing your commentary on it, and I thought it was more gruesome than that.
No, man. No. So we're at one. We're at one. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, man, no problem. Right. Okay. And just a note on last night's game. I see someone in the chat saying it was unfair for JDF member to be refereeing a game where the JDF was one of the two teams. No, we understand the referee is a policeman. And the Olympic Gardens coach said this in his post-game interview that he didn't feel it wasn't right for a policeman to have refereed a game involving the JDF because he says police and soldier are the same. I don't know how that logic works. I watched the game. The referee came under tremendous pressure because of the indiscipline of the players. There were 10 yellow cards, 5 apiece. There were instances where he could have sent off a player from either team. And I didn't see any bias as I watched the game unfold. But when you lose, you're going to think that the authorities were against you. I didn't see that last night watching and calling the whole game. Anyway, who else we have? We have Alric. Morning.
Morning, George. Morning, Tana. How do?
Morning, Alric.
We're not so 100 but we are galang.
We better galang with what we have. Tana, Peter said for shout out. We were together Friday afternoon, so I must have for shout out.
Good morning, Peter. Good morning.
And the guys over by that side, shout out them for me now.
Oh, you all were at the meeting, the spot meeting in Topville.
You have to talk with me, them at George here, man. George.
Yes, sir.
2 things. Radar speed with Mount Pleasant.
Yes.
Why did he wait so long to bring up that argument and then just kind of muddy up the water a little bit, because Mount Pleasant they did not lose points and they were fined some money. I kind of see that as, to me, is a little bit, I don't know. How you think about that?
Well, guess what? I'm not in a position where I can, say this or say that, as you very well know.
Because you're a journalist. Yeah.
Not even that. I do the games, so I don't want to go in with any.
Right.
Next thing you hear, then say, boy, you commentate bad against them side or criticize them players. But what I would say is this: the law, the matter was tested, thoroughly investigated, and I respect the findings. I think the findings are sound in terms of what the authorities ruled, and the $25,000. I'm sure Mount Pleasant paid that already because they're not short of a few, Bob, are they?
No. All right, I don't want to get you in trouble. No, the relays. What happened to us, Judge?
Rust.
What happened to us in
We
the
need some
release?
WD-40. Rust.
Standard at all.
Rust.
No, nobody's training now.
Rust, man, Alric. I mean, the rest of the teams came sharper than us. The teams that beat us were sharper than us.
Oh, boy. Boy, Judge, is our purse going down the road, or is it that the J3A now has to take a long look at themselves and start sharpening up these guys from now and getting them in competitive mood for September?
Let me ask you a question. Would you, if you were offered disappointment at the World Relays and glory at the World Championships, you'd take it, not true?
Yeah, I'll take the glory at the World Championships.
Then where you worry yourself for?
Yeah, but this is Jamaica and we set a certain standard, man.
That is true. But we've never been supreme at World Relays. We've been okay. It's the World Championships that we want.
But the World Relays help us to qualify for the World Championship, don't?
Right, and we botched it in the 4x4. But I'm saying to you that none of these ladies goes to bed or train and the cramp and the vomiting and the pain and everything and saying, you know what, I'm doing this because I want a World Relay gold medal. No, sir. World Championships and Olympics. Yes, that's where it is. And of course the big money league, Diamond League and the Michael Johnson sponsored backed competition.
Yeah, that is generating a lot of.
There you go. That are the main things. So World Relays is part of the matriculation process and everything. It is important, but it's not primary.
All right then, guys. Have a good day. Tana, next time don't talk about my business, George here, you know.
Gotcha, Alric. Gotcha.
Eddie Boss J.A. says, yeah, man.
All right.
Eddie Boss J.A. says, George, you sound a Safian. Not bad.
Apply for your NHD refunds at nhd.gov.jm or via the NHD app. Do not click on any links offering to help you. The time by the NHD is
8:19.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy. It's all good inside is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 26 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Spring into style with Unique Living. Upgrade your home with our extensive range of products. Get sleek shower panels, stylish vanities, LED and non-LED mirrors, plus kitchen sinks, closet solutions, ceiling fans, and more. Available in various finishes and sizes. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call 876-755-3661 or visit our website at www.uniquelivingja.com. Don't wait to spring into style with Unique Living.
Keisha is on. Good morning, Keisha.
Hi, Dad. Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Tana.
Morning to you, Keisha.
Dad, the way I feel, I can't express it in a kind of ear word, you know.
Trust me.
Pertaining to this little young lady, little young miss, who have lost her life in such a way. Dad, me there around here, so feel look a while, you know. And I don't see no change. I don't see nothing different. Besides, every time the right thing is being said and people are trying to be politically correct. Dad, me have a daughter too, you know. I have one daughter. God bless me with one daughter. And Dad, when we live at home, I rent a 2-bedroom house. One for she and one for me. And I was advised by people, well-thinking people, the Keisha, make your daughter stay where she is. She'll be safe where she is. She used to live with my father and my stepmother. And Dad, because nothing makes such a decision, let me miss out certain part of her. Because at the end of the day, me live at Kingston, work here, so Zane, and then me have to go travel down that country. You know, she big, she in her 20s. And Dad, you see the way me think, them time there, me still not resign from think the way me think. Me still not retire. Me still think evil. You understand? Dad, let me tell you something. I don't put any yet, man are rape picking and kill them. And God, until they can take off their head and hang them.
I want Keisha. I mean, understand, man, but boy, you know. Yeah.
Not change. Everybody come. Everybody tries to be political correct. Prime Minister, opposition, everybody. Not change. Besides, man, I go and rape. And the next month, we're going to write here, so we're going to say the same thing. We're trying to political. Judge, you see what me think? Me still not resign. Me still not retire for a thing the evil way what me think. If a boy never tied up with my pity, judge, me put our money one side. Come in who feel in.
Keisha. All right, Keisha. Me understand. Keisha, me understand. But we have a business for at the end of the day. You know, I know you want to listen to us tomorrow and the day after and the day after and the day after. So you have to moderate your expressions.
Every day you try to be politically correct.
Yeah, but
it now happen. I just the other day they're running for a little girl. I can't see them they use a little girl do this to that, and it's the same thing we are here. What change does it happen for your band there over 40 years, Dad? You see that change? Besides, I don't get up my ear say I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. But let me tell you something that Dad, you see, there are times where if a child mess around a dog too long. One day the dog will go bite you. And until the dog start bite, then people will learn. No prisoner can hold them man here. Because see the account what them say. The allegedly, the person who them pinpoint. Them claim them go there. Just prisoner change some of them people here. Some of them people are coming like a worm.
I agree with you on that, Keisha.
Me sick and tired of them.
I hear you this morning.
Yeah,
thank you. I hear you, my friend. I hear it in your voice this morning. Thank you. All right. Delroy. Morning, Delroy.
Hey, George. Good morning. Good morning, Tana. How are you doing?
Morning to you. Doing well.
Good. Judge, there's a thing that took place down in Westmoreland. I think it was Friday or Thursday, where some guy tied up a teacher and kidnapped them, and the teacher was rescued by some police officer. Unfortunately, the guy get wiped out, and I don't hear JFJ come out and say nothing pertaining congratulate the police from saving the teacher's life. And with this little girl, I don't hear JFJ now. So I don't know where they are.
Boy, when you say them things here now, Delroy, you force me now if you say things now, you make the people and cost me. Remember, JFJ's mandate is when it is that civilians, are victimized by members of the security forces. That is what they come out and speak out against. So if a man kills a man, if something happens gruesome in the everyday flow of society, you're not going to hear JFJ say anything because they're not that organization. So you will never hear the Jamaica Automobile Dealers Association come out and say that nurses should get more pay and better working conditions because they don't represent nurses. That's not their remit. They'll talk about used cars. They'll talk about motor vehicles. But so it's the same thing with JFJ.
When I see that those police really save the teacher's life, and based on the way how them handle her, believe me, the police need to be recommended.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100% on that. But don't draw JFJ in that, man, because that's not part of their mandate.
Okay.
All right.
One next thing I need to draw to your attention. I don't know if you hear about it. There's a big thing going on over pen catching there between Damian Crawford and Mr. Newton Amos.
Mm-hmm.
This thing getting real out of control when I listened to that last night. Because, when you see big man cry, you know what that means. And Mr. Newton, they talk, and the man, they cry. The man, I beg them to listen. Try, don't let this happen again because it won't work out like it work out. Which they are something serious, something serious. Because what you're saying, that Damien come in an era, and him see him there, they having a meeting, and he spot him and talk to him, and after that, escalate to be some violence take place right there. I don't know if something about that as yet.
Yes, I've seen some videos on social media.
Yes, something like that. I need to call up Damian Crawford and Mr. Amos before things get worse because, trust me, we are into election season and anything can get out of control.
All right, sir. Thank you this morning.
Have a great day.
You too,
Take
sir.
care, my good friend Turner.
Take care as well.
Bye-bye.
All right. Carl, morning.
Morning, master.
So
Yeah,
Friday morning him calling a Tana. When we were in China and said Sir P's online. So I said, wait, I will Sir P this. Only if he said Sir P morning, a Carl. Morning, Carl.
Me there have to go Montego, be me stop at your jerk center. Me see a fixed door reservation down there, fix up the place on.
Oh yeah,
spend
sir.
money. Yeah, spend whole for money down there, man.
You see, I set me up no, me not the church. Where you know this morning, sir?
Anyhow, me have to get a play back one clip where me hear from about 6 o'clock news and 7 o'clock news of fish. Mr. Bunting mislead the parliament Friday and the contractor jump out of the block immediately.
By the way, Carl, before you go further with this, telling the listeners that the contractor will be speaking with Cliff this morning at 10:45 p.m. AM rather, on Cliff Hughes Online.
Oh, Jesus. What time?
10:45 a.m. So tell your friend, tell your neighbor, the contractor will be on Cliff Hughes Online this morning.
Breakfast the morning time, go early.
Go early and come back. Yeah, 10:45 a.m. Cliff Hughes Online, the contractor will speak with Cliff.
All right, have a nice day.
Yes, man. That's all. Me know, man. That's all I make sure to tell you. Thank you.
All right.
All right, good. Mr. Portmore.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Carla?
Good morning to you.
So we are laughing, those, sir.
Nah, that is mercy. Anyway, I hear you talk about the young lady who was killed in Spanish Town.
Well, not young lady, no, Mr. Portmore. It's a little girl, man.
The little girl. Yeah, man, the little girl. And, I want to say condolences to her parents. And I know you spent a lot of time on it, so I won't go too far in that. You understand? My concern this morning is that I am now convinced that you have two major parties in Jamaica. One is fully Dunce and one is fully Smart. And when I look at both of them, you understand? The thing that has been doing, look at Mr. Bunting and what he said about the school in his constituency that he's running. And then the little man the contractor come out and say, no, not go so. You understand? You realize how fully Dunce they are. Because they are trying to grab at straws to ensure that they try to make a point and to make it look as if they are the party of choice. When you look at the fully Smart party now, they're not getting themselves in trouble, and they have everything that they can talk about to ensure that Jamaica look at them and to say, yes, this is the party of choice. So when I look at somebody when I go on the road and I see somebody in an orange shirt or an orange band, I say, look at a fully Dunce person.
Lord, but you can't do that, Mr. Portmore. No, because here's what you do. If you see by your reasoning, and I'm not troubling you with your reasoning because it's your opinion as a Jamaican. So if you believe that there are elements within the People's National Party whose behavior is redolent with dunceness, or you associate it with dunceness, that's fine. But you can't broad brush, because we know enough people of enough persuasion who bright and who don't. So you can't brand everybody, because we know, look how much sense of a PMP you know. Come on now.
Hold on, Nico. You notice how everybody I run from the party there? You notice? Then it's fully Smart. Nobody would know.
No, sir. But so see, here's what you do know. Talk to the people and the individuals who satisfy the descriptor that you've created. But you can't broad brush, man, because you have Dunce everywhere. Everywhere.
Well, on second thought, you might be right, but the picture I want to paint is, don't support the party over there, because that makes no sense. We're not going back. We're going forward, and everybody know what the JLP is doing for Jamaica. Everybody, everything that the JLP does. Right now, the PNG is saying that when I listened to Mr. Price the other day on Nationwide, and he told a little man that his manifesto. Now tell me, anything that is in that PNP manifesto is already being done by the JLP. And them only going pretty it up and nice it up and twist it up. But the JLP is already doing what Jamaica wants to ensure that Jamaica is prosperous and move into prosperity.
I hear
you see what I mean?
Yeah, I hear Mr. Portmore. I hear you and your logic. And that's how you see it. I can't trouble you on that. I have to run out of time. But just before you go, I want to tell you this. One of the contributors in the YouTube chat, a man who, one of his aliases is George Clive. Pity me use George. Here's what he says, Mr. Portmore. He says, the 305,000 people who voted for the PNP fully done. George Davis, you allow your caller to be disrespectful and get away with it. Proving, Mr. Portmore, that him fully done. So true. There you go. I'm sure you'll agree with me. You hear me tell the man same enough he said that about broadly about people who are PNP supporters. And yet still you use your time and you type the foolishness. George Clive. One of the most remarkable characters.
Do not
ever.
let the cap fit. George Clive.
You understand? Change your name, man. Use one next name. Don't use the George Party name because you just bring George into disrepute. Mercy.
It must stop. It have to stop. Gang violence is not the solution to our problem. It will only cause pain and suffering. Let's find non-violent ways to solve our conflict. Let's work together to create a safer and peaceful Jamaica. Let's all live good.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
It's only 5 days. 5 days of drive-away deals with ultra-low prices on a new Mazda. Up to $2 million off or top-of-the-line Mazda. Enjoy the super comfortable CX-30 or CX-60. Step up to the new family 3-row Mazda CX-90. Level up to executive motors now and steer into incredible savings. Up to $2 million off. Don't miss out. 5 days only. Visit us now at 8 Moresco Road, Kingston, or call 92 Mazda. Find us online at MazdaJA.com. Conditions apply.
Whether you buy it, build it, or improve it, it's time to home it with the National Housing Trust. Join us as we follow the journey of one couple and their friends towards a more secure future for their families. Home It is brought to you by the NHT, the key to your home.
I blow she want blow we up in here. Left hand pressure cooker and gone, but her blow like she don't know session.
Is what happened?
Your left hand the pressure cooker.
Boy, me drop asleep. It's 3 office we clean last night, you know, and supervisor missing again. Me put on the pressure cooker and just lie down little. Me not even know when my eye close.
You're lucky you have me as living babysitter. Messenger when landlord come and now fire chief.
It work both ways, you know, Ronica. You have space to run your little hairdressing hustle even if it's small, right? And Akeem don't ask if you nothing more than a little extra light and water. Yet still, when you see where I try buy house, it would nice if my living sister-in-law did try help. Even if it's a little something towards the deposit.
You know, I'm just a try with the local hairdressing business. And so tell me something. How a taxi man like my brother can't afford to buy a house from NHD?
Excuse you? After it's not just your brother alone buy it. My money in it too. And we're not buying no house from NHD. We're getting the loan from NHD to buy a house that we want and can afford. And I am the co-applicant.
Co-applicant? What that mean?
It mean that 2 people join up for buy the house. So if one person come up short for qualify for the loan, then the other person will make it up.
Well, you know, husband and wife.
You don't have to be a couple to join up, miss. Brother and sister can join up. The NHD ladies say mother and daughter, even friend, can join up sometimes. As long as the 2 of them pay on the NHT, that way you can get up to 15 million.
15 million?
And if it's 3 family members joining, them can get up to 21 million. But you know, must get all of that, you know. You have to prove that you can pay it back. But 3 better than 1.
Me could never tell me.
Don't bother come with that. And today, Akeem, I tell you, if you sort out yourself and register as a taxpayer so you can pay NHT.
Never take him serious because him always want to run my life.
Ranika, owning a home is not an overnight rare. You have to know how to plan your future. Let me show you something. 1 year after you start pay NHT as a self-employed, you can apply for a loan. How long you there with we?
Before COVID.
4 years. You could be on your way to being a homeowner.
That not fair. Oh no, should I make me know on that plan for a long time? Then more than listen to Akeem. Unfair. I need a air fryer. Both here use pressure.
Shanice! Genuine a leave.
You going so soon?
Yeah, you know. I have an early move a morning, you know.
Anyway, I'm glad to hear the good news that you is now a genuine NHT contributor.
Really, Shanice?
Oh boy. I just sorry I never start long time. I could have get a... What I call again, Akeem?
You mean the contribution refund towards deposit?
Yeah, that. But like when I just start, I guess start take a little time to build up anything that makes sense. But better late than never.
That's for sure. It really not suit you for lele like certain people we know. Right, Akeem?
This sound like a good time for me to take on myself. Lick more.
If you are self-employed, start your home ownership journey by becoming a registered taxpayer, which will include making quarterly contributions to the NHT. Visit nht.gov.jm to find out more. Yes, you can home it with NHT and get the key to your home.
Some people ask me why I have so much patience with George Clive. It's because the man has been around for 20 years. He is, of all of you in the chat, and we love all of you, but I tell you what, the man is the only constant. If there was a nuclear bomb to fall on Jamaica, you know what would have left? The cockroach them and George Clive. No man, and the man is a sucker for pain, you know. Because the man there every day from the man first day that we were on Facebook with we interacted with him during Public Opinion. So he'd come on, you know, so I was the Mahiri once, you know, come on and you know get a little bus on the area, the Public Opinion and you know. And the man always have things to say about Nationwide and the JLP and this, that and bitter. 20 years of bitter.
That's a lot to carry.
Boy, I tell him, I don't know. I can man eat meal for breakfast and staple. Evie, good morning. How are you?
Wagwan, George. Long time, my friend.
Wagwan, something there, man.
A long time, boy, I felt Nationwide was the best station in Jamaica, you know, because
we believe so.
Our 4 years now.
Yeah.
A 4 years now, I live in America. I try for the 4 years to get to Nationwide. I can't get none at all. I use Lord Jesus, never mind try. Anyway.
Yeah, man.
What me ask about, tell me something, when they do the crime statistics, does it include people killed by the police?
No, that's a different number. No, that number is parsed, so it's a different number. The number of people killed in confrontations with the security forces is a different number from the homicide numbers, yeah.
Oh, how may I say? Me love what I hear about the crime thing, but I feel good about it. But me I say, I wonder if people in a conversation with the police is included in that stats.
No man, but even so, Avi, you don't have a misrepresentation of the true number, you know, because the police, those people killed in confrontations with or in interactions with the police, that number is given constantly, period over period. So you are never unclear about the number of people killed by the police at any time, even as you are aware of the number of people that that are murdered in the course of the daily activities here in Jamaica.
Okay. One more thing. Me I call you if you tell you who will win the derby. I mean, not get you.
You mean sovereignty?
No. How you mean that in law?
But me get the leak, man. Me get the leak because a journalism me that work with, but him never stay the trip.
Yeah.
He never him start tread water from the furlong from the furlong pole.
From around, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me tell you one more thing. You see any horse Pratt I go ride at the Queeness?
Go again?
Stephen Pratt. Any horse Stephen Pratt I go ride
Pratt,
at the
yeah.
Queeness?
You know the Preakness, yeah.
He set the whole, set the house and set the money. Come have two choice.
All right.
You have Hill Road and you have buy-in, sir.
Yes.
Any one of them take?
Yes.
It will go win.
All right, sir.
All right,
You follow English racing?
No, I don't have no time for that. But just follow Aqueduct and I follow up. But I'm working on a bank, you know.
Okay.
So I don't really have time like in the week.
Yeah.
So on Friday and Saturday when I'm there, I
Yeah.
buy a book and go read and go down to go do my thing. But and sometimes I put a little thing down. But Georgie, I waste my time.
Oh.
I'm a friend, you know, so I'm tight.
Yeah.
But I'm a virgin, so I'm calling from time to time and I work out that thing. But now I get nowhere with the George, man.
So it go, man.
I try to get rich and get and bust him, but boy, I've been a man.
All right, sir. Make we see what go on. Respect, sir. Cool. Yeah, man.
Papa, no link up.
Yeah, man. Respect.
Tell me, sir, use respect here, but me I try to talk to him and be a brother. But no, sir, I have to get my very important.
All right, sir. Respect.
You know, sir, George, there are some bridges of foreign, you know. Them stuck on this and why nobody like me says, I know. You know, me then I know, and I bathroom me then, you know. Come here, Philip, I security building I bank, you know.
Yeah.
So me come hide in the bathroom, yeah.
Yeah. And a thief a call. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Me understand them vibes, man.
100 times I do it. My lose the work because of the rams I use. I can't get them out.
Nobody lose the work, man. Nobody lose the work. Nobody lose the work.
I will still tell him so I still love him, yeah?
Yeah, man. All right,
Dad,
sir. Cool. Respect. Man,
I love
it's
that.
Serious. Yeah, man. I love it.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:44.
The Birthday Club is brought to you by Burger King Stacker. Choose your style, double, triple, or quad stacked. Order the new BK Mega Stacker today.
When the man say Bob, there will be no doom.
That time of the morning when we tell some very special people happy birthday and happy anniversary. Happy birthday greetings going out to Claudette Bennett from your daughters Karen and Amanda, your grandchildren Akeem, Amoy, and Samuel, and great-grandchildren Caleb, Talitha, and Kezia, is it? Happy birthday to you, Miss Bennett. Happy birthday. Wishing for you a great day. I understand that you're a long-standing NNN list. Oh, no. well, you might also be a long-standing NNN listener, but a long-standing NNN listener celebrating his birthday today, Mr. Kong. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Kong. Wishing for you a wonderful day. Happy birthday greetings also going out to Jacqueline Miller, aka Belle, from Christiana Manchester. Happy birthday to you. This one says, tell her happy Mother's Day from her beautiful daughters, Janelle and Julia. So happy birthday to you, Ms. Belle, Jacqueline Miller, aka Belle, and belated Mother's Day greetings to you from your beautiful daughters, Janelle and Julia. Over on Facebook, happy birthday to Taisha Bolton, Jason Mullocks. Also, happy birthday greetings going out to Rochelle Watson Cunningham, Simone Mollison Folks, Keisha Scarlett, Kelly McLean, Jovi Rockwell, Nordia Bentley. Happy birthday. Happy birthday as well to Rosemary Murray Tingling. It's your birthday, Rosemary. Happy birthday to you. Wishing for you a wonderful day. Over in the YouTube chat, Angine Newman Miller sending happy birthday greetings to Desmond Miller from Angine, his wife, daughter Kim, and son Sanjay. So happy birthday to you, Mr. Miller, from your family. Who else is celebrating a birthday today?
Well, as you look, let me just insert something, not birthday, but it's a congratulations nonetheless. And I met a very, very, very strong couple, Terence Wright and his wife Melissa. Won't say where I met them because I know I informed by myself and Mr. Terence. But they're from Northwest Clarendon. And Terence says to me, good morning, George. I want to congratulate my son, Terence Wright Jr., on his achievement, Masters in Agriculture with a concentration in Animal Science at Delaware State University. And they visited with him for his graduation, saw some pictures as well, young man looking smart, and his parents traveling to meet him. And so Terence Wright, you know, are armed with a Master's in Agriculture, concentration in Animal Science from Delaware State University, and your parents say to tell you that they are immensely, immensely proud of you. So Terence and Melissa Wright are sending congratulations to their son, because the son has done great things with the investment that they have put into him.
Well done. Portland 60 sending happy birthday greetings to Michelle Flemings of NWC Port Antonio from Zell Port Antonio. So happy birthday to you, Michelle Flemings. And happy birthday greetings going out to Patricia Sanford. Happy birthday to you, Patricia, from your friends and your family. Wishing for you a great day. Arlene Rose sending happy birthday blessings to her friend, Mr. Neville Davis, and also belated Happy Teacher's Day. She's saying that Mr. Davis is a retired teacher of the Accompong Town Primary and Junior High. Arlene says, bless up to you, my friend.
And Friday, I saw another one of our YouTubers who passed through to hail me, Loxley Thomas, who posts in the chat very, very often. Good morning, Loxley. Good morning. Thank you for passing through on Friday in hot Clarendon. Do you know Kimberly Rowe, right? Who's from St. Elizabeth. After him dash one cup of soup on his own foot, right? Hear him to me now. George, what? Me don't know Clarendon had some. I say, hush your mouth. You can't come from St. Elizabeth and talk with anybody parish hat.
Kimberly acts as if he passed through St.
You understand? You're going like a man where you come from. Are you come from up a smoky field? You in no position to call anybody parish hat. Yeah? No St. Elizabeth native can complain about anywhere being hot. Not even down a hell. You understand?
Who else is on the B-Day list? Crystal Daly sending happy birthday greetings to Dr. Trace Loy Solomon from the Ministry of Education. Have a great day to you, Dr. Solomon, from Crystal Daly here in the YouTube chat. Scrolling on down, Melissa Williams sending happy birthday greetings to Karma Blacks from the Tasia Scolding High Class of 07. She's over there in Canada wishing you, he is over there in Canada wishing for you a fantastic day. So happy birthday to you from Melissa. And Arlene Rose sending belated happy Mother's Day blessings to all her family and friends who are mothers of Whitehall, Beth Salem, Accompong Town, Thornton, Aberdeen, and Silo. So belated Mother's Day greetings to all of you. Kian Ellis sending happy birthday greetings to her daughter, Kalia, celebrating her 18th birthday today from your mom, Kay. So happy birthday to you, Kalia, from your mom, Kay.
So Cheryl Wallace said, no, George, you're not right. Up in the hills of Holland is very cool. So I was coming to edit myself, Cheryl, to say, if you live on the plains in Mandeville, if you live in the whole Santa Cruz area there, and Black River especially, the hottest place in Jamaica, you can accuse nobody parish of being hot. But if you live, there are many parts of St. that are very, very cool. But not Santa people, not Black River people. Keep your mouth shut.
Clarence 777 here sending congratulations to Christopher Jahari de Vancourt Lawrence, is it? Graduated magna cum laude in aerospace engineering. From the University of Miami. So, Christopher, big congratulations to you from Clarence here in the YouTube chat. Big up yourself.
Yes, man. Big degree, that, you know?
Big degree. Hence my emphasis. Any other birthdays before we go? Eddie Buzz J.A. sending happy birthday greetings to Miss Warburton, is it? Warburton. Thank you so much for that. George Warburton, Ms. Warburton, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Wishing for you a wonderful day from Eddie Buzz J.A. Steve Hutchinson sending birthday greetings to Sister Valerie Parker. Happy birthday to you, Valerie, from your brother, Steve. Wishing for you a good day.
Here, Arlene, now, George, you got it wrong. Sometimes St. Elizabeth cold almost the whole year. Yeah, man, enough part. But that's why I corrected to say the Santa Cruz and the Black River people, first of all, the Santa Cruz people behave like them come from uptown. Some call them uptown St. Elizabeth. Yeah, that's that. But the Black River people, Black River, hottest part of Jamaica by far. And Santa running a very, very, very close second. Yeah? Them two places there.
Those are all the birthdays. Happy birthday to you if you're celebrating your birthday today. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well.
The Birthday Club was brought to you by Burger King Stacker. Choose your style, double, triple, or quad stacked. Order the new BK Mega Stacker today.
King, pull up that. Let me do like a corny intro. Ready again? Come, drop it again. The first question of the quiz is: what book follows Genesis in the Bible? What book follows Genesis in the Bible, Tana? What book follows Genesis in the Bible?
Yes. Exodus.
You sure?
Yeah, that's real corny. That's real corny.
We never time it properly, that's why. We never time it properly.
Cute, but corny.
We never time it properly, man. And they just kill me over this also.
Because
like you genuinely think I say, well on, which book follows Genesis in the Bible?
Yes, sir. What are you getting at, George?
Yeah, we know it's Exodus. We see your mind at work, you know. Tana, we know your face, you know. We see your mind at work.
No, that may say, is there something else?
Because I can't that, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah. We never tell you, say, Mom, we didn't tell you, you know. Okay.
Anywho, that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning. Thanks to our technical operator, the musical maestro, Jermaine King, our super producer, Michelle McCrae Smith, and our super editor, Kimon Thompson. Up next, the Consumer Hour, and at 10, Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tana.
As my uncle would say, come poetry is sure done.
Good morning.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
Talking about transportation, transporting the past, the present, and the future generation. Whether taxi, private vehicle, or bike, your 2 bicycle wheel, them are a hike. Listen up, quick, you coulda young or you old. Up on the bus, cause